love you guys. Dance off, bro. I have the high ground. Expecto Patronum! 39 days. What people want. Survive.
On the Tribe of Nerds.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the Tribe of Nerds. Matt, Michael, and I are here for another Survivor International Season Review. So you're here for Island of Secrets, the next season of Survivor South Africa, Season 7. So this should be interesting to talk about one of the most dominant, Final Twos, because I know it was a Final Three, but really a Final Two.
Direct.
Yeah, in possibly Survivor history. So this should be very, very interesting. But to get into it, I guess, impressions of this season and the cast. What did you guys think?
It's a very clinical season. I really enjoyed, I'd say, 2/3 of this season. And then it is just that you know exactly what's going to happen before it happens. But somehow the players didn't know that was going to happen, including one tribal council where there's a brilliant realization of what's been happening for several episodes. I called this season the Ghost Island of Redemption, Idols, and Exile. Just bung all the Redemption Island stuff into one. But yeah, I think it's got a lot of ups and downs, but I think you can only blame the players who didn't do enough to affect that.
Yeah, I agree. I don't know. I'll just touch on the cast a little bit here and then I'll let Matt go. But I don't know if production deliberately cast some really stupid players that had no idea what they were doing. I almost think that was deliberate, but I don't know. I just don't know what they saw in the people they cast here. But your thoughts,
Worked
Matt?
out well for the amigos.
Yeah. That's true. They cast some smart players as well, 3 of them.
Michael said that he compared the season to Ghost Island, Redemption Island. In my notes, I have a lot of One World things where it's like 2 dominant people and a lot of people who aren't really playing, and then Jacques is like the Choisan of the season. So,
yes,
but yeah, there are some bright spots on this cast, especially the final 2. But then there's some people I don't know how they got on, just like I don't know how Leaf got onto One World. So.
Because he demonstrated that he could hide in a box.
That's true.
He was good at
that. All right. Well, yeah, I mean, this should be interesting to talk through some really stupid moves as we go, but let's get into it with episode 1. So we get 3 tribes of 7. This is 21 players. So only the second time in any Survivor that there's been an odd number of starting castaways, but this time it seemed deliberate because Fiji's wasn't deliberate because someone quit right before they started filming. This one, I don't think anybody quit. I think they just wanted to go with 3 tribes of 7 and I guess one less woman, I think. It was...
To go off that... this is the 3rd time in South Africa that this has happened, but we haven't really watched the early seasons where there are odd numbers. But yeah, there is one less woman, which I don't know why. Just cast one more or get rid of one man. I can think of at least a couple men who should have gotten cut.
Yeah, considering how rough female players often have it in the early game of Survivor, it feels like just another hurdle to overcome, having one less on the cast.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just an odd decision, but I also feel like maybe it's to this is right before the new era because this came out 2019. So I don't know if they just 3 tribes were still kind of going on in US Survivor every other season or whatever, or they'd swap into 3 tribes every season. So I don't know if they were just jumping on the trend a little bit again here and just doing 3 tribes because of that, or who knows. But yeah, so we have Laume, Ta'alo, and Saula. Saula and Ta'alo were kind of just very, very similar. And then Laume is kind of the one I remember the most. So
I remember Saula because we're going to hear a lot about them.
Well, yeah. I guess by name only, do we remember Lao Mei's name the most? But yeah, Saula is the one tribe that you focus on, like basically the whole season. So
Yeah, and then it's appropriate that Tao Alo got the purple because they really got like a purple edit because I didn't really pay attention to anybody on that tribe.
Is that the one that never goes to tribal?
Yeah.
well, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well,
And
one maybe once, but yeah.
Yeah.
they go once before the swap, and then it's basically, yeah, then Lao Mei starts losing, and yeah, that's basically what happens. So they get divided, and right away we have the twist of like sort of Kagianesque twist in a different way.
Yeah.
So Rocco, Paul, and Cobus become the leaders of their tribes. Rocco is like an obvious one. I mean, like you're gonna look at him and immediately pick like the big dude, like right off the bat to be your leader. Like that made sense. Paul was like the old gentleman on the tribe. So I guess that makes sense too. And then Cobus, I guess, is like athletic enough where I can kind of see that too. But I guess your thoughts on, I guess, who they selected as the leaders.
Yeah. And then do they have to send? Did they do the thing from
Kagian, they
Kaguya
sent
where they have to pick someone? Yes.
they
Yeah.
sent the
So
weak link. So it was
the weak link.
CPay. It was CPay for Saula that Paul picked, and then Rocco picked Letitia, which that makes sense, and Cobus picked Jacques, which was very, very interesting. I find that Jacques and Cobus relationship a little bit interesting because they kind of were like rivals at the beginning, and then they
Yeah.
kind of like work together for a bit, and then it just goes nowhere. So
It was very up and down, and this worked out brilliantly for Jacques because it ends up making him be the caller for the challenge, where he finds his first of many idols and clues and advantages. Before we get to that challenge, I do have one quote from Ting Ting when the tribes are divided, where she says, "We have the hipsters, we have the golden oldies, and someone who looks like Lara Croft," and referring to Steffi. So that was perfect.
Yeah, Steffi does look like Lara Croft, so I think that was a very apt description. Um, all right. So yeah, they send the weakest links, they become the callers, and Rocco, Paul, and Cobus go to Island of Secrets. But we'll get to that in a minute.
I just want to say it's funny that Cobus goes to Island of Secrets because I just want to say this now because he has that quote of, "I didn't think there was going to be an actual Island of Secrets." It's like, have you never seen Survivor?
Well,
I question if many of these people even watch Survivor, like even one episode. So.
I do like that he was hoping that nobody would ask him about it just because it's called the Island of Secrets.
Yeah.
He gets back and he's just not allowed to say anything.
So this is the Worlds Apart Blindfold Tower Challenge.
The crotch smash challenge, as I call it.
Yes, the crotch smash, yes. And yeah, Jacques, as you said, Michael, Jacques got the one of his many advantages. So we got the extra vote, which is basically, I guess, how it says on the Wikipedia, and how we're gonna find out is it's kind of like the legacy advantage where you have to play it at like the right away at the merge.
Yeah.
So interesting twist for it. I actually kind of like that it's kind of like a legacy advantage, but not actually the legacy advantage. So
yeah, same.
All right, and so they basically just have to get each tribe has a chance to collect however many items they want. It's not like I don't think anybody like actually wins, do they?
No, I think it was just like a time thing. And then I've noticed that Nicole and Leanne almost go into the ocean. Then I liked how they were able to fight over items, how Steffi is able to steal the rice from Mamba, and then how those tiny shin-high obstacles are only there for one reason, and that's to hurt you.
Yes.
And that's 10. Yeah.
I don't know. My favorite iteration.
Challenge.
Yeah. My favorite iteration of this challenge is Kagian, where you just have LJ running into all things with his crotch. And
doesn't Spencer really he goes right into a pole and he's screams.
Yeah. I don't know. Spencer also gets hurt by these blindfold challenges because then he has a cube crush his foot and second chances.
Yeah.
Yeah, these blindfold challenges I never want to do ever.
Just a needlessly people are just going to get hurt. People have been badly hurt in the past. Yeah, I don't like anything where it's just high risk of injury.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Speaking of that, and as Jake said, this is the Wolves of Part One. Michael, you brought up in the notes how this is when like the platform like crushed somebody in the head.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's brutal, horrible.
Yeah, Kelly Remington, I believe. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Especially just the fact she couldn't see. It's like it's
Yeah.
already a bad injury, but she wouldn't have even known what had happened. It's like, and then she just have to keep her blindfold on. But anyway,
Yeah, it was so weird. It was so weird. But yeah, so they have a chance. They collect all their supplies. Jacques gets the advantage, and then so we go to Island of Secrets, and each of the three leaders gets dilemmas of they can take Flint for the tribe or get an idol. And Rocco is the only one who took Flint. Cobus and Paul take the idol, but Rocco basically gets both because he reads through Paul's clue.
such a good
amazing.
move.
Yeah,
move.
it's so good. It's such a shame he only ever attends one tribal council and he's gone. But like, yeah,
Yeah.
so smart. I wasn't sure whether the clues would be the same for each beach, but yeah,
Mhm.
it's an option to take both, and he does it.
Yeah, or yeah, it's a clue. Sorry, not an actual idol. I was trying to remember if it was an actual idol or it was just a clue, but yeah.
Yeah, the idol clue. Yeah,
Yeah, and so yeah, I mean it is shocking because like I actually was super interested in Rocco because like I didn't expect him to be someone who would like be this clever, I guess. Because I thought he would just be the challenge guy. And
Wow, stereotyping there, Jake.
but no, but he was very clever in this, and I was like, okay, Rocco's gonna be really interesting, and then he isn't. So
maybe he was. We just
Yeah.
it's the downside of being on a tribe where you never go to tribals. Like you're never going to see them on TV.
true.
Yeah, it's like we just never really see much of him, and then he's gone.
Yeah, unfortunately. I mean, anything else from this trip to Island of Secrets?
We could just get to what they do with those with their stories when they get back, because Paul just goes with honesty, and they have the tribe idol, which they'll then pass out every episode, which is a unique way to deal with it. It seems to work quite well for a little while.
I mean, for one episode, basically.
Yeah.
Poor Paul gets screwed over. I mean, I feel bad for him because, like, I mean, honesty to build trust. I get the objective of doing that. Maybe he just did it with the wrong people. But like,
that tribe does love trust.
I mean, they do love trust, but apparently just not with Paul. So
Yeah.
and then Rocco overplays and basically like uses it to try to build this all guys alliance with Mike and Jeffrey and Darrow, and only Darrow like trusts him, and like Mike and Jeffrey are just basically using it. Yeah, they basically use it to get Rocco on the outs. So yeah, I see Rocco. I mean, maybe he would have been super interesting if he went to more than one tribal. So
Yeah, it's tough to comment on him.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it really is. I mean, he is the Hulk, as somebody said, so.
or Superman.
Yeah.
We'll get to that. And then what was it? Cobus. Then what was his like?
He eventually told Jacques,
Yeah.
but that's basically it.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about the Debbie Wanner / Rebel Kell of South Africa. Let's talk about Tanya.
Damn it! I literally have
Yeah.
that in my notes. I had a mixture of Debbie Warner and Rebel Kell. God damn it!
Yeah, she absolutely is. We get
Yeah.
her being horrified at the idea of people getting married in their 20s.
I'm actually going to agree with her on this one. I kind of like this.
Agree,
Wait
yeah.
until you're 30. Live your life and don't get married when you're 22 and have regrets.
Yeah, see,
Yeah.
it's a choice that I'm not married.
Yeah. Yes. It's a choice for you. And then she also says that her secret to looking young is marijuana. Which,
But
I mean,
is she 45 by any chance?
Oh my God.
okay, I'm just going to bring that up now. Letitia is 58, so she's the same age as Sue is. I'm 47, and I just want to bring that up.
But she doesn't lie about it.
Yeah,
She doesn't lie about it. I don't know. I don't see Letitia as the type that would lie really at all. So
In this part before we get to the immunity challenge as well, we have CP where she says you need to start eyeing your own humans. And I thought, is she an alien or an android? Or why did she say that? Eye your own humans.
I don't know. CP says some weird things and says things in a weird way that pisses people off. But like, her introduction to the tribe is telling people how to say her name. You see it, then you pay it.
That's good.
Yeah,
I like a pronunciation guide. It's helpful.
Yeah. And CP maybe Google what a biker queen is. I was like, I don't know what that is.
Yeah. Yeah.
What is it? I didn't Google it.
Oh, it's basically just like she just like rides a bunch of motorcycles. Like she's like, just like that.
With
I
a
thought it was
crown
gonna be
on.
something. I thought it was gonna be something like really insane. But no, it's just like she just like rides motorcycles.
Yeah. That's what I thought, but I was like, I didn't know either. So just a BMX person, I guess, something like that. All right, and yeah, so basically, yeah, Tanya then annoys everybody and turns Tintin and Cobus away from her is the only other thing I have.
She wants to advance her tribe and advance womankind.
Yeah.
Yes,
Um,
yes.
Jacques also says about her, if the next immunity challenge is to make up a story that nobody's going to believe, we're going to win for sure. Which is a fantastic quote from Jacques.
That was perfect. Oh, and then I do have, yeah, so then the amigos that get formed, Steffi, Rob, Nathan, and Nicole, they do find the idol clue that Paul shares with them, or they do find the idol when they do it in front of Leanne, though, basically. Like, they just don't care.
Yeah,
So,
totally, Anne.
Well,
yeah.
they didn't. Well, I mean, they were all looking for it, but they were hoping she wouldn't be there, but she was.
Yeah. Well, and we'll mention, I think we will mention the big thing after. Let's talk about the immunity challenge first, then we'll
Okay.
talk about Leanne and Nicole's big history.
Yeah.
Um, the immunity challenge is building the 3D puzzle shape, and it's like they have to disassemble it and then bring them back and then reassemble it. And it's Lao Mei and Ta'ala win. So
Surely this is a puzzle that you could just cheat. Like if you someone takes the first and you just then rebuild it in reverse order. So if they went through in order and then you know where you're putting your pieces on the reverse of that. But yeah, it still seemed to be a struggle for everyone.
Yeah.
I also would just like to say that the Battle Axe immunity idol is fantastic.
Mhm.
It's like up there with the reward sword from Survivor Australia All Stars.
Yes, that one is one of the best. I also like the Pearl Islands like sword sheath, and
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of some other good ones that I really liked. Oh geez, we could do a whole podcast ranking like the tribal immunity idols of every
Yeah.
single season.
Where
So
would the stump from UK go?
oh yeah, the stump from UK.
I'll say not the bottom, because I'm assuming there's something that we aren't thinking of.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I honestly I don't know, like that is like actually bad, but in a funny way. There definitely probably is something that is actually worse.
Yeah.
So, all right, and so yeah, the that challenge happens, and Ta'alo has to go to tribal council, and so we get the history of Leanne and Nicole being pageant queens, and like they actually know each other, and like Leanne thinks Nicole is going to be jealous, or she's jealous of Nicole. It's like something along those lines, but
I find this so sad. It's like you can see kind of Leanne's insecurities about that whole thing, and she really looks up to Nicole, and it's just for her to be on the outs, and I just found it really sad to watch. It's a really kind of bummer of a first episode where I just feel bad for this girl.
yeah, yeah. I mean, she just gets placed on this tribe where she immediately has this, person that she feels so insecure about being around, and like,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know Leanne is necessarily a first boot on some other tribes, but also I don't think she's socially that good either.
Well, no, hold on. I have a quote that she says Leanne says she's going to play a great social game because she can get along with everyone. So I'm just saying, she could do it.
Maybe.
We do get
Yeah.
the first glimpse of the cold slither of ice in Nicole's heart, where she says about her that I respect her, I look up to her in a lot of ways, but I never said I had her back. It's just before her elimination from the game. So cold. We also, this is where Nathan gets injured as well.
Oh,
Yes,
well,
we need to
perfect.
talk about that.
Because my transition was going to be, you just said back. Well, back is connected to the shoulders, and we have that great image coming back from the challenge of Rob just carrying Nathan on his shoulders.
Yes. Yeah. We need to talk about this because this is going to weigh heavily over the entire pre-merge of Nathan's injury on his ankle. Well, and he has an injury on his hand later, but this ankle injury, especially these last couple episodes or these first couple episodes, yeah, where he's basically like not sure if he can make it. And like basically the amigos are going to protect him, especially Rob. And, yeah, I mean, they basically hand the idol to Nathan to make like ensure that he's safe this first round.
Yeah, on Rob carrying him, I thought it reminded me of Luke carrying Yoda. So every time he did it, I was like, it's just a Luke and Yoda moment. I'm going to take the opportunity while we're talking about Nathan's injury to show my gnarly scar on the podcast.
Jeez.
I had an operation now. I've got a gruesome scar on my arm, so I'm just like Nathan.
Yeah, except you've never gotten blindsided pre-merge, so
No, it never happened yet.
so
Yeah.
you made it.
Yeah.
All right, so yeah, so then we get to tribal council and basically CPay is pushing to like save herself and get rid of Leanne, and Nathan really is the deciding factor as we're shown at tribal as he gets the final push for Leanne to be the one voted out there. And so Leanne is voted out 5-2, which I find a little bit interesting that really she like I guess Su'ula isn't completely decided on which like outsider they're gonna get rid of, and then it these first two votes kind of really happens at tribal council that the final decision is made.
Yeah, they make the decision to just vote individually rather than as a set plan. And it's really brutal when Leanne's talking about that she gave up her dream job to be here while the rest of the tribe is whispering about voting her out of the game. It's just like, oh God, poor girl.
Yeah.
I feel so bad for her.
Yeah, I mean, if we're talking about first boots, I guess, I mean, at least South Africa, I mean, her and Seamus, I mean, Seamus is obviously better. I mean, we're gonna see Seamus again. But I mean, and I guess we're gonna talk about next season a better first boot as well, and then Return of the Outcast, obviously.
I don't know. That Return of the Outcast one kind of sucked.
I've never watched the next season, so I'm really excited. I'm unspoiled on the next season we're going to be watching, so that's going to be exciting.
Okay, good. Yeah, we won't spoil it. I actually think the next season is a better. I would say I don't want to spoil it. I would say a better version. Crossed. Yeah, of something. Anyway, so we get to episode 2 now. So this is where initially Paul tries to approach Nicole and Steffi about making a sub-alliance with the three of them, which is not going to work out. But and Nicole says later of like Paul changes like the tone of his voice of how he's speaking to them, which I didn't catch up on or catch on to. So I guess like I don't know if you guys picked up on that throughout the episode. But
I didn't notice anything. I do understand Paul being wary of there being a stronger three within this group of 5, especially on such small tribes. Like you don't want to be in the bottom of that alliance position, and he tried to kind of boost himself up, but it doesn't work out for him.
Yeah, I actually did like Paul. I don't know. I feel really bad for him in this case because I actually think if Paul was able to get out of this like tribe that ends up having this like super tight mentality as an alliance, like I don't know, Paul could have been a better player, I think.
Yeah, so. And Stipe kind of usurps him in that role because she was completely on the outs in episode 1 down with Leanne, and she's she's so proud in this episode at the beginning of how she managed to talk her way out of danger, and we see throughout this episode how she becomes an integral part of that alliance, and then later on, like one of the absolute key players of the season.
Absolutely, yeah. And then we have, so then Cobus shares the idol clue with Jacques. So this is where that comes into play, and Jacques snags the idol under Cobus's nose. So
he does a golden god. He steals the idol like he did from Phoebe.
Yes, yeah. This was really funny. So, and it almost comes back to bite Cobus in the next episode if Jacques actually played that correctly.
Yeah, we'll get to that, man.
Yeah. Oh, and then I have Tanya and Felix arguing over the shelter. So if you guys want to go into that.
One of the great moments of just like, you didn't call the spot. This isn't your spot. And then she finally gives up. It's like, I was drier over there anyway.
Yeah, you're so kind of passive aggressive about it, and it's like, I'm actually not getting dripped on here. Oh, sorry, one drip. And then he says that he's throwing the old woman off the bus.
This relationship is funny, and that I don't want to spoil it for Michael, but it might come into play in a later on.
And you come back to, I got spoiled. Was it Tony or Shania who mentioned
Felix?
Tony.
Tony.
I was like, I sent a message to you guys during that interview being like, Felix comes back? Really? I couldn't believe it. But I'm all for Tanya coming back. Let's go.
Well, I feel like it's kind of because she's such this major character.
Absolutely, bring her back. She absolutely deserves a spot. She's great.
Yeah, and we'll talk about her boot episode later in this season, because she actually tries her heart out in her boot episode to change her fate, but it doesn't work out. So
you don't want, like we talked about with Kelly for Survivor Australia, you don't want everyone to be this amazing Survivor player. You need these kind of characters, and Tanya was a huge part of this pre-merge, and she was fantastic, just like Kelly was, but in slightly different ways. Yeah,
absolutely. And I mean, things did work out to not make Tanya go earlier. But, she does make some interesting decisions that end up looming large for the tribes she goes on. So I want to give her a tiny bit of credit for things that she ends up making. But all right. And then Lo Mei is gonna target Rocco because he's basically overplaying on that tribe with this Guys Alliance stuff, and so
I really love how in this episode they split the immunity.
Yes.
The two challenges are immunity and reward, but just for one tribe, and then the remaining two tribes go to another immunity challenge. I thought it was a really fun way to do the three tribe dynamic and getting, rather than just first and second place, get immunity, having it be across two challenges. I thought it was really fun.
Yeah, I actually wish US Survivor would do something like this with as much as they love the three tribes. So
yeah, good stuff.
But so as you mentioned, Michael, so we get to this first reward immunity challenge, and it is using a tuning fork to stack balls on top of the little spool things, and while the rest of the tribe holds up the coconuts. And so Lao Mei wins again, Rocco showing that he's the tribe hero. So
yeah, I was actually amazed they picked Rocco for this job, because I figured he would have been the one lifting up stuff.
Yes.
But they picked him as the one that they have to lift up the coconuts to get him to move.
Yeah. And he makes it work. So that's impressive. Anything else about this challenge?
Lao Mei sends Rob to the Island of Secrets.
Yes, so that does happen.
Pointless advantage.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, a pointless advantage. Rob does end up losing his vote, which isn't going to matter, but
Rob could lose his vote for the season and he just still won.
I know, honestly, yeah.
For sure. It's crazy. And so I find Rob honestly fascinating. I honestly do.
Absolutely. Like, I think he's a fantastic player. Like anyone that's able to get into people's heads that much, where they just never waver from him. And there's certain moves in this game where I just think are real amazing moves, and we'll get to them later on. But yeah, as much as this is a predictable season, I'm personally a huge fan of Rob. I think he played an absolute blinder, and we had a great final two, because I love that we keep saying final two. Put it around.
Yeah.
Well,
I like him. But
He's
going
a
back to
likable guy.
going back to Rob, as you said, this is a predictable season. I like this winner named Rob better than the one that we got in U.S. Survivor. That was also a predictable season, because this Rob, even though they're basically both dominating against like some weak players, this Rob is more social, like more charming.
Yes.
Physical threat. It's like, this is like, I forgot if it was Tony or Shanae who said they pick Rob as their all around player.
Yes.
But after watching the season, I'm like, yeah, it's like him and the Golden God now for
he's
me.
very rarely available to be voted out. He's either got idols or immunity necklaces. It's such a dominant performance. He wins 5, which is the record, right? Like joint record.
Yeah, he does tie the record. And yeah, I mean, he's a great all-around player, but we'll talk about him more as we go. But
will we? No, we definitely will.
As well as giving credit to Nicole as we go as well, because
So back to the Island of Secrets. In my notes, I have Rob wagers his vote to send anyone to Island of Secrets until merge. Did he ever actually use this advantage? Because I don't remember it.
I don't think so.
I don't remember it coming up. I don't know what benefit it really has.
Yeah.
Unless he could send himself and try and get something. But of all the Island of Secret advantages, this one was just nothing. I don't see what the point of it is.
Yeah. Like how they give a nothing advantage at the start of the season, but give an OP advantage like near the end of the season.
Yeah. We'll talk about that really dumb OP advantage that just like doesn't even like come into play at all.
Yeah.
So then we get a second immunity challenge for the remaining 2 tribes, which is it's the challenge from the start of Caramoan, where they have to drag the reins to like the poles in the water. And I mean, at first you would think, because Talo talks about this of like they got the gym bodies, but like you would think Talo is like the underdogs in this challenge, but they end up actually, dominating this challenge, aside from 1 point that Steffi wins for Sola.
Yeah.
Just one thing before going into that challenge. Corbus says, if we lose, Tanya goes home and we get Flint. We're trading Tanya in for Flint, which is just win-win.
I don't know. Kobus has a couple funny, like, sassy quotes. I actually kind of like. So, yeah, I mean, so this challenge plays out. At one point, Rob accidentally drags, what was it? Dante or...
Yeah. This is his one mistake during the entire season.
Yeah, which is crazy.
Yeah. So, and then he's like, Nico's like, Rob, you accidentally dragged him to the Ron pool.
Yeah. He's probably wondering why it was so easy to get him over there, because he was trying to go there too.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
So
and then Nathan almost dies again.
Yep. The poor Nathan. So medical, he calls in medical and is basically like, I can't keep going in this challenge. So
respect how much he gives it as all. Like even after this, he really still gives everything he's got to the challenges. Which when you're injured, I'd be sitting out. But I guess he doesn't want to look like he's weak when, especially when he gets to the tribe swap. In his original tribe, he's fine because they're protecting him anyway. But at that point, he has to kind of go for it. One last thing on this challenge is Tanya and Ting Ting say, "May the force be with you" to each other, which was a nice little moment.
Also, Michael, you said you would sit out if you're injured. Well, you're injured now, but you're still playing. So you would be in, man.
Yeah,
but I won't be lifting anything or doing anything physical.
Yeah, is this?
I'm not
also...
at work. See, I can't do work.
Is this also where Dante gets his Aquaman name off of?
I think so. Yeah,
possibly.
Yeah, because he really actually like dominates this, like when they're swimming out to get the rain and everything, and so, Yeah, I almost I think Nico gives him the Aquaman name, honestly.
Give
Or
us
maybe
give us Rocco versus Mark from Titans versus Rebels.
yeah.
There's gonna be somebody coming up in a future South Africa season that you may want to throw into this matchup too.
Yeah.
Ooh, another
Yeah.
dolphin.
Maybe the true Aquaman in my
Yes. Yes.
opinion.
Oh,
Yes,
nice.
I would share that opinion because I'm pretty sure I know who we're going to talk about
Yeah.
with that.
Is it
All
Tanya?
right.
Yep.
Yeah,
It is.
Tanya. Yes, Queen Tanya. All right. So yeah, we get then before Talos' next tribal council of Nicole gets nervous about how Paul is changing his tone. And then we get this like heartfelt conversation between Nathan and Rob. Nathan's asking Rob to vote him out. Rob's like crying. Which is
Yeah.
wow. I just did not expect this. Like for Rob to like have this kind of emotional response with Nathan or conversation.
Yeah, we do see
And
that brotherhood really building, and I totally thought this was going to be the mercy killing of Nathan,
Nathan.
but and before this discussion as well, Rob tells them about how he lost his vote, and he's
Yes.
given the public idol to wear at this tribal council.
Yeah. Again, like huge props to Rob is that
Yeah,
he's able to just get everything to go his way, even without a vote.
yeah.
So, um, yeah. So, and Nathan does tell Rob, "You're totally gonna win this game, man." Like,
He called it.
he did call it. Nathan has an impact, even not making the merge. So. All right, at the tribal, so then the amigos literally changed the plan to Paul, and Paul is blindsided in a 4-1 vote.
Yeah, Rob mouths it to the rest of the tribe. We also get Nico being frustrated, where he says, "What part of Island of Secrets is so confusing to you?" Rob just telling everyone what happened there.
I feel like that's a question for everybody on this season. Just
Yeah,
Rob is
there was
able
no
to,
secrets this season.
yeah, but Rob is able to actually like maximize that and leverage that. So nobody else is. Anything else to say like on Paul and how this goes? I mean, Nicole is also a very much a part of this decision too, I think, of like switching it to Paul because of how Paul is like treating the conversations that they're having together. So
Yeah, the first big blindside for the Amigos.
mhm.
Poor Paul. That's a badge of honor for him.
Yeah, absolutely. So I wouldn't mind seeing Paul in like a second chance this season, but I don't know. I don't know. I just like I feel bad for him.
Well, so do I, but he's the one who left his clue in his pants pocket for Rocco to find.
Yeah, I guess you're right. I can't give
And then
him.
gave his idol away.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's true. I can't really give him too much credit. He very much misplays every bit of leverage he could have had. He basically gives everything away. So, all right, episode 3, and this is one that we're gonna have a lot of conversation about.
Ooh.
Well, so it starts off. CPay is brought into the alliance now, obviously, and Paul leaves with the Flint, apparently, or he left with the Flint. Which,
Yeah, he becomes an Amigo. And we get Jacques showing Ting Ting his armory, which I love that
yes,
he calls it his armory, as he just
Same.
collects these things and buries them.
yeah. I do have apparently Lau Mei. Then Rose Lee, her only moment of the season is actually like questioning her place in the majority alliance. So,
Yeah, she's nervous about being at the bottom of the 4.
right.
But I don't know, like we talked about it with Paul in a similar situation. I think you can go either way, where it's always good to try and get yourself into a better position. But also these 3 tribes, they're never going to last that long. And as long as you are in the majority,
Yeah.
you probably don't want to rock the boat too much. As long as it's not going to be you at one of the next couple of tribals, get yourself to a swap and see what happens. But yeah, that doesn't work for her either.
Nope.
So you're saying your great plan doesn't work. Okay. Great, Michael. Thank you.
Sometimes you get unlucky in Survivor. She did.
Yeah, true. the reward and immunity challenge. This is like the mud race. We've seen it in like Heroes versus Villains and some other seasons, but that's the one that comes to mind for me with this challenge. It's like 2v2 matchups. And 1v1 at one point.
I don't know how people so confidently dive under a low plank of wood like that. Like and no one hits their head. I guarantee I'd have done a Bruce and
Ever since that happened to a Bruce, every time I see one of these challenges, it's like anytime somebody just recklessly just dives in, it's like,
crazy.
And plus you're being pulled by somebody too sometimes, so it's even more dangerous.
Yeah, right. Like a check. I'm just getting all the references there.
Yeah, I hit my head back there. I don't care.
I know. Care.
I know.
Oh, did I know?
Yeah.
We need Joel and Chet back now.
Oh yeah. Also, fuck that challenge for Micronesia because it took out Penner. But anyway.
Yeah, and hurt Parvati and Amy, but mostly it took out Penner. So all right. Anyway, so was it Sola wins the first part, and then it's a 1v1 between Dante and Rocco for that second place.
And it was insanely close.
Yes, it was insanely close. Rocco clutches it out, and Sola then sends Tanya to Island of Secrets because of CPay, which is going to come into play in the swap.
And we also get Rocco doing the Rocco shuffle dance.
Yes, the victory dance. I do have that.
Yeah, don't do it. He'll sue you. That's a trademark dance.
Love how he patented it.
Yeah. We cannot do it on here. All right. Talk about Tanya going to Island of Secrets. That is going to come into play here, where she gets the choice. She can either skip tribal council here and basically decide which of the three tribes. She knows the swap is coming, so she can choose which of the three tribes to go to, or what she can return before tribal council with like
she can choose a tribe swap, or she can go and get voted out.
Yeah.
Not
those
much of a choice.
Yeah. Well, so obviously she, even though Tanya's been is a crazy character, she at least understands that she was about to get voted out. So give her credit for that. But yeah, Tanya gets saved very much by a twist.
Yeah. And unfortunately, I mean, Ting Ting should have been saved too, but it doesn't go that way. So we have Jacques saying he wants to play his idol for Ting Ting and blindside Corvus, and wear his clothes around camp like a warrior.
Oh my god.
Which would have been cool.
Yeah, the Luke Toki.
Yeah.
Stealing people's clothes. All right, yeah. I mean, going in, I definitely thought this plan was actually going to happen. Of Jacques is going to play his idol for Ting Ting. Ting Ting's going to be saved. And instead, she just becomes the most robbed person ever. Yeah. And Jacques freaks out at Tribal because he panics after seeing everybody being shocked. Because, of course, everybody's going to be shocked that this is getting pulled out.
Yeah. And especially Gobus. I mean, it was his idol, technically.
Right, exactly. Like, I don't know why Jacques has this just reaction of like, oh, I'm gonna freak out and not play it for Ting Ting and play it for myself. My boy Jacques, I love him like as the season goes, but this was just such a misplay. So
terrible. Poor Ting Ting. I'd never forgive him.
Yeah, she was so robbed.
I think at the reunion show she even says she didn't. But I mean, especially when, I mean, it's about as obvious a vote out as you're going to get in Survivor.
Yeah.
Like, if you can't get that right, like, if it was one of the more complicated idol votes where you need to really gut check it, that's more understandable. But you knew everyone was voting for Ting Ting. He could have saved her in his position. Then again, you know, how different would things have been? We see that him and Cobb has become tied after this, so he still ended up with an ally. But if he does save Ting Ting there, he has someone who's never going to go against him in the game, which of course would have been helpful when he's up against the mob at Merge.
Yeah, but as you said, like he ends up being allies with Cobus anyways, so I don't actually know how much Like, and like looking at it, yes, he obviously should have actually saved Ting Ting, but I don't know how much it actually changes. So
Yeah, and
Yeah, I don't think it
plus
affects the long-term game.
yeah, and plus the next episode is the tribe swap, so she may have gone anyway.
right, she might have gotten screwed regardless, but still, Ting Ting was robbed.
Yeah.
So so yeah, goodbye Ting Ting.
Before we get to the next episode, I just want to make a note of something that Rob does this episode. He makes fire for his tribe,
Yes.
thanks to his dad teaching him, and I thought that was a nice little moment.
Yeah, that was a very
Right.
nice moment. I also love like when Rob kind of references, I don't know if it's, I guess, a religious practice of like what he's a Zulu man, is what he says. I love that they do reference that as well.
Yeah, he's very much the provider of his tribe all the way through. Someone mentions he makes fire every day at the family visit when they come later on. So that's something he continues to do the entire season.
Yeah. Yeah. All right, episode 4. So Talo, I am flabbergasted by Jacques, which of course, like I would be too. This was horrible. At least Jacques like owns up to how horrible it was.
I mean, what can you do?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Got no choice. He says,
I mean,
I have a massive target on my back and jack shit to show for it.
Yeah. I mean, like, I feel like we've seen people, though, that they do something terrible and they try to claim that it was something great. And so at least he is aware enough and, like, you know, he knows he fucked up.
Yeah. And Dante isn't happy because he has this quote: if you jump my ship, I'm pulling up all the ropes and ladders. I'm not Jesus.
Yeah, Dante's quick to anger.
Yeah, angry man on Survivor, at least.
Which is funny because one of the first things he says in the season during his episode is, my downfall of the game will be if I act on emotion.
Again, he called it.
Yeah.
He did call it. All right, so we get to the tribe swap, and so Tanya comes in, and so we get split up, and she basically chooses the tribe that ends up with 5 people, instead of like swapping with someone else, which I mean, I guess makes sense because she sees that she can just join up with more of her old tribe mates.
Yeah, I thought that was an interesting twist that she had that option, though, to kick someone out of the tribe of 6 if she wanted to and send them somewhere else.
Right. I debate whether she should have or not, but I mean, based on what happens. But I don't know. At first glance, you know, you don't think you're going to lose too much, then yeah, this is probably the right choice for her. So the new Lome is Jacques, Tanya, Felix, and then they have Rosalie and Darao and Cipe, and Tanya can get Cipe on board because of her getting sent to Island of Secrets because of Cipe. So like,
yeah.
And then Ta'alo, Dante and Meryl, and then Rocco, Letitia, and then Rob and Nicole. So even split there. And then Saula is Nathan and Steffi with Mike, Maba, Jeffrey, and then Kobus. So 3-2-1 and 2-2-2.
I just want to say this. Tanya tells Felix that Ting Ting went because she was a strong ally of mine. Don't pretend. I just thought that was funny because she was so angry. Like, Ting Ting was a strong ally of mine. It's like, I don't think she was.
Oh, doesn't she also call Meryl like the weakest woman in the camp? I'm like, what are you talking about, Tanya?
Yeah.
Like, isn't Meryl super athletic and smart? Like, what?
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of Tanya's opinions aren't really based on anything other than just gut feeling, I think.
Clearly not. All right, and then Nathan lies about the Saula idol, and Jacques finds the Lao Mei idol. So
yeah, Rob lies about the idol going home with Paul.
Yes, which is a good lie.
Yeah.
So I can't remember what Nathan says about it. I think it was something slightly different. Which
He just said that it was hanging up at camp and then somebody took it, but he doesn't know who.
Oh, okay.
I think that's what it was.
I just think the best lie is what Rob said. Yeah, Paul went home with it, which is absolutely believable. So, all right, and then we get to the reward and immunity. So it's the walking planks, which is an interesting challenge of like you're having to like walk with these things on your feet, and
Mud skate.
yeah, and so Durao really sucks at this part, which is crazy because Durao seemed like he's a good at looking athletic guy. I mean, but
Yeah, but have you trained doing mud skis? Come on, I mean,
yeah, no,
you can't really
true.
blame anybody.
No, I know, I can't. But yeah, and they have sandbags at the end, and like I think the shots on this, the cinematography and everything is actually really good in this challenge. So
Yeah, especially because somebody was like, "We can't do it," and then Steffi is just like, "Just believe," and then
yes,
and then the next one hits.
yeah, that was really good. And that it's a good moment for Steffi as well.
Yeah. I was thinking, what Disney bullshit is this?
I mean, Steffi's a Disney princess. I mean, if Lara Croft was Disney, then
I was gonna say, I was like, I don't think Laura Croft is Disney, man. I know they have a lot. I know they bought up a lot of things, but I don't think they bought up Laura Croft.
So and they find out they have to Sula has to send someone to Island of Secrets from Laomei again, and they will skip tribal and they send Cipei. Rob pushes to have that happen, which is great for them. It'll come up at tribal as we'll talk about that like Rocco should have like pushed to save Rose or Durao.
Yeah.
But this was a great move from Rob. So
another one, yeah.
Yeah, and then this challenge was also the reward. And this challenge was also the reward for the steer's rib feast. So I guess my favorite.
How good did that look?
It looked so good. Even like the two ribs, even just the small two ribs looked really good. Because as you know, when it comes to steers, flame grill just tastes better.
Do we have a sponsor?
We should.
I'm trying to, man. Because with this monkey gland sauce, let me tell you, it just tastes better.
Everything tastes better with monkey gland on it.
Yeah. I had to look up. Somebody sent me that from South Africa, and I had to look up what is in this. And it's just like a bunch of like spices and garlic.
No monkeys were harmed in the making of it.
That I know of.
Yeah, let's hope not. So and then off of I guess off of like discussions, Mike starts to really distrust Nathan. And then before tribal, so Rose and Durao are obviously like basically outnumbered 3-2, and Durao makes a fake idol which nobody buys because obviously Jacques has it. So
they make a fake idol that is straight out of the new era.
Yeah, the beads. Yeah.
Oh
my God. I hate that. And I actually in the pop that you guys sent me with like that Todd sent, I got a little beaded idol. So I guess
Really?
You're a new era player.
Yeah, let me grab it real quick.
I don't remember. Maybe it was just like part of like the note. They've come with the note. Oh yeah. It came with the note. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, it came with the note. So
okay, I thought you were saying it was like in the pop. I was like, I would not have referenced New Era in that pop.
No. Yeah, so it's pretty cool. But I just wanted to show that.
And speaking of idols, Felix tries to get Jacques to give him the idol. It's like, that's not going to happen, man.
Yeah, so they argue instead of coming together.
Yeah, Felix is very full on. There was no subtlety there.
No.
Like, we'll see another play of someone trying to get an idol from someone later, which is done with way more subtlety that actually work, not just give me your idol.
Yeah, this was a terrible move on Felix's part. That's gonna help lead to his demise. All right. Then Tanya chooses to stick by her old tribe. So we get to tribal, and Rose and Jacques are arguing about Laomai's loyalty. Jacques says Rocco should have done what Rob did for Cipei and helped Durao or Rose out here. Which I'm gonna agree with Jacques here at this point, and because also Laume has not lost an original member yet, so
Yeah.
I mean it just makes sense. So Rosalie is voted out 3-2. So
I did think it was really sweet that Durao just wanted to give her a hug before the vote. They knew they had no hope. It was one of them, and they just had a nice little hug before she goes.
yeah. I do like Durao. I think he seems like a very sweet guy. So I don't want to rag on him. I know we're gonna rag on him strategically in this season.
Yeah.
But I get why also, like, I mean, he's just socially, I think he's pretty good because he's just such a genuine sweet guy.
Yeah. This is also the first hint of what Felix is like at tribal council, which is a nervous wreck. I don't think he's cut out for it. When it's ultimately his undoing, every time he's always like, "Can we just vote?" It's like it's a TV show. No, you can't just vote. You need to have a discussion first. He's always just wanting to get out of there.
Yeah, yeah. Felix is interesting. So, yeah. All right. Anything else on Rosalie? Are we ready to hit episode 5? I don't think there's anything to talk about with her.
Yeah. Okay, no, sorry, you lost.
All right. So episode 5. So this is where Durao and Jacques now want to work together. Jacques actually wants to keep Durao around because he gets along with him better. And Felix is actually frustrated about being forced to work with Jacques and Tanya. Well, your wish will be granted soon of not having to work with them anymore. And then there's a reward challenge of the matching game, which I think one tribe wins. Ta'ala wins the reward, which is
Biostrap.
Yes, Biostrap.
Yeah, Biostrap, which is
more promotional.
I don't know their slogan. Biostrap, when you're on an island and you don't want chocolate.
And we do have Nathan and Rob discussing the game on the bench, so basically telling each other everything, which as I think we said it in the Philippines podcast of like US Survivor now separated the benches by a lot, so you don't have stuff like this, which I think is a shame because I think this is just an interesting dynamic to let players talk things out on the bench.
Yeah.
So
let the players play.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with it.
Well, according to Jeff in
together.
Production, I think they do have a problem with
apparently
split.
Apparently, you need everybody to be original tribe strong.
Yeah.
So
and half the tribe needs to be safe.
Yeah, and at least like 2 or 3 players can't vote.
Yeah. It's a great season, guys. Great season. But now back to something that's better than the new era.
Yeah. All right, so then Jeffrey is sent to the Island of Secrets, gets the choice between firewood or the candy jar. So basically the Tarzan and Jericho decision.
Yeah. Obviously, I'm taking the candy, man.
Yeah. I honestly think, though, that Jeffrey absolutely plays this wrong, and then he takes it back to the entire tribe and shares it with everybody. Like, I get it, but also, like, I think obviously Jericho did it way better in that season of like sharing it with a select few people to really build trust with a few people. And I think that's the much better decision than trying to get trust with everybody.
Yeah, as the great player Andy says, if you're friends with everybody, are you really friends with anybody?
Got another reference in. Going back to Jeff, I like how it was like where he's trying to decide between the firewood and sweets, and then it just cuts to a conventional of him with the jar of sweets.
Mm-hmm.
I just thought it was like stuff like that.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like I wanted to like Jeff more, but then as the season goes on,
but then he doesn't want to let that happen.
Yeah, then I don't want to like Jeff anymore as the season keeps going. So all right, so then and then the smoothie bar. So Meryl and Dante found the idol clue at the smoothie bar, and as we'll see in the episode, Dante insists that people saw them find this. So
I was like, did they?
I was like, I don't think they. Yeah.
God.
Well, no, I thought he was joking about them finding it here, but then at the puzzle is when he does point out that they did see it.
Yeah.
But going back to the package and the clue, I see this is if you're going to hide something at a reward, this is why I like where anybody can see it instead of just depending on where somebody sits. Then they have a better chance.
I like this as well.
Great. Yeah, much better.
Yeah.
Like also great reward because smoothies versus chocolate.
Yeah, I do like this as well. This is really cool, and yeah, like even like positioning the clue was like what next to like the sign or like that's a really cool spot.
Yeah. Speaking of a cool spot, that is how Meryl gets everybody to look away. It's like, hey guys, look over here. How many islands are there?
Yeah. Really interesting. And so then we get to the immunity challenge and talk about flubbing up a challenge. So this is the slide puzzle, and Nathan is trying to throw the challenge, but is way too obvious about it. And then meanwhile, Jacques is failing at the challenge, and Felix is like getting very, very angry and literally making fun of him the entire time in front of everyone.
It's like 2 hours, right?
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Well, as Jacques is, first off, I want to say I love this idea of the slide puzzle where everybody does it as it's like a different like a slide puzzle. But then when it gets to Jacques at the end, he says, "I can build it in less than 90 seconds. Nico, time me."
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I would never say like I've said I'm good at puzzles, but like out there I'm not gonna like I'm never gonna tell everybody, oh, I'm this like puzzle whiz, and like especially tell the host like, hey, I can solve this in this amount of time. You're gonna jinx yourself.
And then take 2 hours to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then when Felix is getting mad, he just shouts out, he builds puzzles. His parents build puzzles. No one can tell him anything about a puzzle.
I like how Jacques completely fails this puzzle, but Felix ends up being the villain.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, definitely don't make these type of comments. Although I'll say Felix did have like a very tight alliance with Meryl and Dante. So like, I don't know. That probably made him feel comfortable to just do that. I don't know. So.
And then this is where Meryl gets the idol. And then Dante tells her that Rob and Nicole saw her. So Meryl reveals to the rest of the tribe that she has the idol. And then it cuts to a confessional of Rob like, yeah, I had no idea.
Like, I don't know. Dante is just not great strategically at all.
Yeah, Meryl talks about this in the reunion show where she's annoyed at Dante for making it getting into her head when she should have just trusted her gut. It's like, yeah, he could have kept that secret. No one would have known. But Dante is the best ally sometimes.
Nope. So then, basically we get back to camp, and Cipe and Tanya are both very annoyed with Felix's behavior towards Jacques in the challenge. And they basically tell Darao he's safe, but like basically make Felix think it's Darao, and Felix is completely blindsided in a 4-1 vote.
We also get Cipe saying she wants to be a mom to the group because who wants to vote your mom out? And my answer is Nina and Sierra do.
Yes.
Yeah. Wait, hold on. Sierra voted out her mom? I've never heard this before.
No way. Right? It's not like the show beats us over the head every single season. It's like, Jeff, stop.
Yeah. And speaking of that, I don't know if you guys knew this, but did you know one of the biggest blunders in Survivor history is Eric giving up individual immunity to Natalie?
Yeah, that's another thing we get beat over the head with, and poor Eric has to watch it every single season.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. That'd suck to be like known for something like that, and people just have to ask you every single time they talk to you.
Yeah, I feel like people like as Eric said, like he's taking a stride now. And when Simon was on here, we talked about the 2 idols.
Yes.
It's like, I've people have made fun of me for years, so I just take it in stride now.
Right.
Because there's really no other choice.
Right. Exactly. So, anything to say on Felix here? As Michael found out, Felix does come back. So.
Yeah, I can't wait for Michael to see that.
Oh God. Is,
Yeah,
is he just as eager to get out of tribal council every time?
I love to rewatch to see, but
Because
I
even
I
once
don't want to
again,
spoil.
he's like, he says, I just want to vote and get out of here. It's like,
yeah,
okay, go away. I'm done with you.
I know where he ends up in the season, but I don't remember the specifics exactly because I've only seen the season once. But um, yeah. So goodbye, Felix. I guess we'll see you in a couple seasons. So
Yeah.
all right, episode 6. This is kind of, I mean, we'll talk about like the what Tanya does to kind of try to save herself here, but this is kind of like, I don't know, not as exciting as an episode. Uh Jacques does reveal his advantage in Idol to all of Laume, which is going to work very much against him because Durao is going to talk to everybody. So, I I understand like you want to completely unify your tribe, but again, you want to keep some secrets as is the theme of the season.
Yeah, Durao is just he can't keep a secret to save his life. Every single thing that's told to him, he leaks back somewhere. It's
Yes,
just yeah, you shouldn't tell him anything unless you want it leaked.
right. Yeah. Yep. And then we get Dante stealing the flint to weaken and annoy Rob.
Yeah. Which, well, I mean, well, he makes a point of he did it because Rob has a chain throughout the other tribes. It's like, yeah, he does. But there, you can find another way, Dante, instead of just
Yeah.
torturing the rest of your tribe.
Yeah, I have down that Rob actually like takes blame for it so he can idle out Dante.
Yeah.
Yeah, he says he wants everyone to vote for him and he uses idol.
That's hilarious to me. So really, yeah, this doesn't benefit Dante at all.
No, nothing really does in this game.
No, no. The reward challenge is the slingshot, and this is where Laume wins, and they send Nathan and Nicole to Island of Secrets together. But
Yeah, we get the Band of Misfits alliance, and then they win the reward.
Mhm. Donuts. Which
donuts.
I have this quote during, when Steffi and Cobus were playing. Come on, Sahula, we never give up. And Cobus just shouts, "Not for a donut."
Yeah. And so they both go to the Island of Secrets and they receive a split idol, and Nathan lets Nicole have it. Both halves. So
I really like this as well. What's tricky with the three tribe season is how to pull numbers together in a merge when there's not
mhm.
one big collective. So it's a really good plan where CPA wants to bring the Misfits and the Amigos together at merge to make a dominant alliance, which is good forward thinking from her.
Yeah,
Mhm.
absolutely. I like the half idols, to be honest. I think it's a good twist to kind of incentivize that you need to use it to like align with somebody or like, have this information between at least two people. So
Yeah.
yeah,
And that
I think
idol
it's good.
goes on a journey.
Yeah,
Yes,
it
this idol
does.
does.
Yeah, the two halves of it I've always liked, especially because it gives you great moments like a tie fucking over Scott
Yes, yes.
and Calrone.
Yes, that's probably my favorite use of it is just to screw Scott and Jason
Yeah,
over.
yeah, but I do like this version better where two halves form one idol instead of a
Yes.
super idol.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Much better than forming an overpowered idol that is never actually going to like be used. So, um, all right. Then the immunity challenges you balance blocks on the platform using the ropes. You all have to hold it. I remember this is this challenge that gets Simon out in Brains versus Brawn. Uh, I believe. It's been in quite a few seasons, but I'm just trying to remember like the example of it that I've seen before.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'll trust your word. My memory on challenges isn't the best.
it's called Disky Business.
Mhm.
I know that.
Yeah. Yeah. So Lao Mei loses their third immunity challenge in a row. I guess because they cannot work together in challenges.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, we also get Jacques showing his tribe the idol, and Stipe says, "Can we play this one correctly, please, and not because you panicked?" Jacques says, "I didn't panic. I made a bad move." And he just says, "You panicked."
yes, we all know it. um, so yeah. Oh, and then we get back to the other tribes, and Nicole lies about the idol as well, and you have Rob's great reaction of like, it was all a lie.
Yeah, well, it's like half the tribe believed it, half of it didn't. Muriel's like, sure, and Dante rolls his eyes, and then Dante gives this didn't think much of her story. Was just like the rest. Starts emotional and ends with a lie.
Yeah, and yet nobody's able to actually take Nicole out either. So like,
I did really like the added detail of it was a phone call or the idol. So I thought that was a very believable thing that they could add in there as an option that they could get to cover, like that they didn't come back with an advantage. I thought that was a nice little detail.
yeah, I feel like anybody is going to be skeptical of everything. It's just like whatever lie you tell at least has to be somewhat believable for a couple of people. And so for her, I honestly think it made sense for Nicole to tell it because she is a mom. It just people aren't going to believe it no matter what.
Yeah,
So
but the people on Saula believed Nathan's lie because he had that parchment that talked about the two idols, and then they let
Yeah,
he let them check their bag, check his.
yeah, I think they did the best they possibly could with that.
Yeah.
You're always going to have distrust, like Jake said, but as far as getting something across the line with that, that's the best they could have done.
Yeah, always bring the parchment to prove something too. Like, I love him, but Nick Iadanza in season one of like where he makes up the poem and he should have just shown everybody the clue.
Such a good poem.
Yeah.
Because every year his students razz him.
Yes. I love Nick, but I think he even knows like he should have just showed like Craig and everybody the clue. But
rather than getting everyone running around looking for a throne for a king.
yes. It's iconic for sure. All right, so then Tanya is very clearly on the chopping block, but kudos to Tanya. She actually tries to get a move to save herself, and she tries to get Sipe and Durao to flush all of the advantages and stuff by blindsiding Jacques. And unfortunately, it doesn't go through for her, and Tanya is still voted out 3-1, but very much want to give her credit here. I mean, at this point, she doesn't have anywhere else to go, so trying to get Jacques out, I guess, in this case does make sense for her to try to do.
I mean, Tanya's on the chopping block. They even sit down and tell her to her face that she's going home.
Yeah,
they have this thing where they say which two they want to go forward with.
Yes.
And she goes first and says her two, and then everyone else says the two that doesn't include her.
Yes.
It's so brutal.
Yes. Yeah. It's very much like Garrett and Kagion, but like at least with this, it doesn't backfire on the person that says it.
I do think Tanya maybe could have made something work if instead of trying to get Jacques out, she tried to get Sipe and Jacques to vote out Durao because he was the odd man out in that group. So I feel like maybe that would have, she probably still would have went, but I think that was the pathway that could have maybe got through. But instead she was trying to blindside Jacques, who had already made, deals with Durao, deals with Sipe. So yeah, it was never going to happen.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. It's that maybe the smarter decision to just take out Durao for her, but I want to give her credit for at least not like laying down and dying. So
yeah, she gave it everything she had. And she was a fun character of the season.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, like, I wasn't shocked that she was brought back at all. Like, it made sense to bring Tanya back as a crazy character that doesn't, like, bond with everybody. Or, like...
I'm really excited.
The return of Queen Tanya. Oh, boy. Yeah. All right. Episode 7, so we get another swap from 3 tribes down to 2 now, which is the next logical step. You want to do one more swap before you merge. So mix things up a bit. And you have it with paint, and this is where Steffi is going to get exiled by putting her hand in water, which makes sense, where she's going to have to join the tribe that loses somebody. So
Yeah.
And we get Jacques doing a shiny and dyeing his hair a different color, but this time with paint.
Yeah, I am not putting like paint in my hair at all like that. Like you're gonna have to live with that for however much longer you're in the game.
It's there for the rest of the season.
Yeah.
Yeah, the people who just put it on their arms or like their face were the smart ones. But I do like this one where this is because South Africa does a good job of like having you choose something, but always makes like paint or like eggs, just makes it something different every time.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I really like the paint and the eggs. It's fun.
Yeah. Yeah. So the new tribes initially are New Saula is Nathan, Nicole, with Jeffrey, Maba, Dante, Meryl, and Darao. And the new Ta'alo is Rocco, Letitia, Sipe, Rob, Mike, Jacques, and Cobus. So
And we get Nathan speaking to Rob and telling him to speak to Cobus and speak to Mike. Still kind of giving him tribe dynamics that he can try and get in there and make something happen with.
Right.
Yeah. Speaking of Nathan, I had this note. While he's at the new camp, he's cutting up a coconut with the knife facing him, and I say, "Not a great idea." And then 5 seconds later, it cuts to he like almost cut off his hand.
Yeah. And then you have Jeffrey saying Nathan's a nice guy, but he's a real dramatic boy.
Yes, it's so funny.
All right. And so then that reward challenge is the ball course with the tiny platforms. You have to pass it. It's like the Keith Nail did this challenge in San Juan del Sur. So yeah, I mean it's a cool little challenge to like how these mechanisms move and how you have to work together to pass this ball from one to the next. But Ta'alo wins this challenge.
Was that the immunity or was that the reward? Sorry.
That was the reward.
Yeah. I can't remember what it was for, but
yeah, I didn't even mark anything down. Let me check.
Come on, I trust you guys for the challenges.
Well, I don't care. I was keeping notes on the paint and all that stuff.
I keep notes what the challenges are now. I just not all the rewards.
I must have deleted this. The reward is all the rewards won by the dissolved Laomé tribe as well as a bag of rice.
Yep. See, if the reward is something like the smoothie bar, then I'll have that down. But
yeah.
It's like this one's like, I don't know. I don't really care.
Yeah. So then we get to the new Saula and Darao basically spills everything to Nicole about Jacques' stuff. So again, kudos to Nicole, although I feel like Darao just tells everybody anything. But like, I mean, I think it's said later in the season that Darao just noticed how like, easy to talk to Nicole was, and like that's why like he basically wanted to work with her and everything. So like I think it's just like Nicole just came off very, very well to Darao right away. So
I think that's Nicole's biggest strength, but it's also what works against her in the end is she makes such good social connections with everybody that in the end they're also hurt by it. It's like it's a tricky balance to try and maintain. So yeah, Nicole is probably the best social player on the season. Her and Rob kind of, there's an argument for both, I think, but yeah. Nicole's a fantastic social player.
Dante has a strong case.
Dante or Felix.
Yes. And then you get Sipe bossing the Talo tribe around. You have Mike's reaction of like, this woman is just coming in and basically telling us how we're gonna play and everything. And I'm just like, why would you go into a new tribe and just like basically demand, like have all these demands for people?
This is the moment I fell in love with CP. She's one of my favorite people on the season. She sits down with her new tribe and says, "I've played hard. I look around and there's people here who have never felt struggle. You need to start playing."
Yeah.
And then it cuts to Mike saying, "It's not my fault. Your tribe sucked at challenges."
Yeah. That was funny. I mean, I get it. I get what she's saying. Just maybe don't tell all these people to their face.
But it's true, and it's very prophetic for how the rest of the season will go.
Yeah.
These people don't notice what's happening right under their noses.
Right. Get these actual big players out, and they don't.
Oh
So,
my!
So,
We'll have a
so
lot to
Michael,
say about Mike.
so Michael, you said you fell in love with Stipe, right?
mhm.
Yes.
Okay, well now I gotta get on the phone and get an interview with her for you.
I think she's great.
Yeah.
She's a fantastic player, and
Yeah, I think
she
so
had
too. Yeah.
such good perception of what was going on around her and
Mhm.
good control. And unfortunately, she kind of like Tanuki and UK Survivor, where she had so much power but she just peaked too soon, and everyone saw for the threat she was.
Mhm.
Yeah, she played a fantastic game.
Agreed. All right, then we get to the immunity challenge, which is Hot Pursuit. And shockingly, Tala loses despite having all these big guys. But I think a lot of it also, Letitia injured her leg in this challenge. So
Yeah.
that probably had a part to play in it.
Well, when you're a 45-year-old,
Oh, geez. So yeah, Letitia talks about just being a liability because she injured her leg, and now you get Rob and Rocco gun for each other, which I mean, kudos to Rocco, at least he's at least trying to do something and trying to get Rob out, but it's just not going to work because Rob.
I feel so bad for Rocco on this one
Yeah,
because it cuts to him talking to everybody like, oh yeah, we'll go for Rob. And everybody's just lying to Rocco's face.
yeah, I honestly think I would have liked to see Rocco play again just because I think he had a lot of potential, but he just never went to tribal until it's too late.
Yeah, I mean, this is Rocco, Letitia, and Mike's first tribal council in episode
Yeah.
7.
Mhm.
And there's still people on this season that haven't been up to this point and won't for a while.
Yeah. It's insane. So, basically then we get to tribal and Rob says take out Superman, which I will hold it against Rocco that he somehow has no idea that he is Superman. Which I'm like, dude, you're wearing like the Clark Kent glasses, you're literally built like a truck, and like you still have no idea that you're being talked about. Like, I don't know. I was just a little shocked
That's
by
humble.
that. Yeah.
He's humble.
Maybe it's the humility for sure.
It can't be me.
So Rocco is voted out unanimously. Even Letitia votes him out, which I was a little shocked by because I thought they were a little close, although we haven't. I mean, I think I thought that because like the first couple episodes, like Rocco's like protective of Letitia, being like, we can't vote her out. We got to go for like Maba or something. But yeah, she just joins and votes Rocco out. So
That's the story of this season. The minority have no loyalty to each other or willingness to stick together, even to vote with the person going out. It's just like, as long as it isn't your time to go, they'll jump on the vote to the point where they'll even give people the ability to split votes rather than stick together. And it's like, yeah, you gotta stand up for something at some point if you want to make a difference in the game. And this is just the first example of that. That's going to come in heavy into play into the merge.
Yeah. And I just have Steffi then joins the tribe. But anything else on Rocco or the episode before we move on?
No, I just remember the first time I watched this, I felt bad for him, and I still do. So he's somebody that I guess I would want to come back, but I don't know how because South Africa is dead, unfortunately. Hopefully it comes back.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Yeah, because the only other thing would be like a second chances type season, I think, that they would pick him for. So, all right. So episode 8, the final episode of the pre-merge. So we find out that on the Saula tribe that Dante is very frustrated with Jeffrey and Maba. Is this where he says he wants to punch Jeffrey in the face? Or is that next episode?
I think it's at this tribal, yeah.
Yeah.
This is the big blow up episode. Is this the Nathan boot?
Yes. Yeah.
This is the big blow up for Dante and Jeffrey.
Yeah. So that's what happens. But we get to the reward challenge of kicking and screaming, where they have to tear each other off the poles, and like the challenge of Cliff Robinson just literally not being able to get moved off the pole.
Well, chuckling. Just
While
giggling
chuckling.
away to himself.
Yes, it's so funny. But in this, so Tala wins after you have Dante yelling and cussing at Maba during the challenge, which is like, and it's also her birthday.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's so rough.
Happy fucking birthday. You fucking grab that leg.
I feel bad for her. This is the only time I feel bad for Maba this entire season because she's not really a big factor in anything else.
Yeah, it is rough on her birthday. It's the second worst birthday in Survivor after Rodney.
Yeah, I was gonna say Rodney, right?
Yeah.
Washing dishes on my fucking birthday.
All right. So
hold on. I just had a fun thought. Think of a tribe with Rodney and Dante on it. Think how crazy that would be.
Oh dear. I think that's a season I'll give a miss to.
Yeah, let's not have that. All right, so then Doral goes to the Island of Secrets and gets the idol that that guarantees him into merge if they go to tribal. Yeah. So which I think is slightly interesting. I mean, I don't know. Doesn't come
like how Jake is over some of these advantages. Like, I guess that's okay. I mean,
I guess it's fun, yeah.
I'm just the positive one slightly, but
it gets them to merge. So there is something funny about this. So Doral knows that merge is next episode because he has this idol that's going to get him to merge, and then this whole plan comes into place that we need to take Nathan out, but then there'll still be tribals before merge. He could have let them know that merge was around the corner, but the one time he does keep a secret is now.
Yes, yeah, that's true. That's actually wild. Because he really could have. I don't know if that changes anything or not. Maybe it does. But Rob and Mike also bond. Rob tells Mike the Saula idol is still in play. So kind of, he says like he basically wants to give a little bit of trust to get some back, which is very smart. I mean, it's basically Survivor 101. I mean, to build a bond with someone or gain their trust, you got to like give a little bit of information.
Yeah. That's Rob's biggest strength in this season is his ability to gain trust by giving a little something, even by giving idols to people and getting them back. There's all kinds of examples of him just building that trust with people that they don't break. And Mike's going to be like a loyal soldier for Rob for a long time.
And until one tribal.
Yes.
Until he realizes.
Yeah. The immunity challenge, so you have the blindfolded ball and maze, and this is where Nathan's hand injury comes into play, and he
looked fucking terrible. He looked like he wanted to die.
Yeah. So
why did they put him on that part of the challenge?
I guess because you needed strength, but like who else was on that tribe that could have done that?
Dante, or was Dante already on it?
Yeah, Dante was already on it.
Okay, yeah.
So I don't know. I don't really know who else. Maybe Nicole actually doing it, but I don't. But she was the one calling. But she was the one calling, so I don't know.
But Nathan can call. It's just a silly decision.
Yeah.
Nico even calls it out. He says, Nathan nursing an injured hand. Why they made this call, nobody knows.
Jake, since you know so much about challenges, has there ever been like a blindfolded vertical maze, or is it just normally? Or I know you've had a bunch of horizontal ones. I can't remember a lot of vertical ones because I really like this.
I believe Kagian had this as well. This is with this was
South Africa just steals everything from Kagian.
Yeah, exactly. They really do. They did it last season as well. So like. But yeah, this is the challenge where the only time the Kagian lose on brains win a challenge, and Bryce goes home.
Okay. So, I still like this challenge because I always love vertical mazes.
Yeah, this is a good challenge. Basically, Nathan is still confident Dante and Meryl are the targets, and this new plan comes into play where Jeffrey wants to antagonize Dante and Meryl to get Meryl to flush the idol. But actually blindside Nathan. So, Yeah, so I mean, it goes through. We have Jeffrey being very antagonistic towards Dante and Meryl, and you get Dante and Jeffrey getting into the huge fight. So, yeah, I mean, I don't think this is at all going to help Jeffrey in the long run of like antagonizing somebody. I get what the thought behind it, but I just don't think like you never want to just like piss people off this early because you're just going to get into merge and you kind of need people to not be super angry with you.
I,
Well,
I honestly think that this is a case of Jeffrey being a fan who has gone 8 episodes without ever having to play, and
Yeah.
and he's clearly so ready to go to tribal council and
Yes.
do something in the game, and I think he just comes out swinging because he's finally getting his chance to play Survivor, and he wants to make his first tribal council a big memorable one. And his plan does work, but yeah, you're having 2 guaranteed people that are going to hate you for the rest of the game.
Right.
You're blindsiding someone who's very well liked within the other tribe alliance. So your position's never going to be great coming out of this, but it was a fun tribal council at least. It's always good when someone threatens to be knocked out at tribal council.
Exactly right.
Yes. Yes. Yeah, so Nicole joins them, very emotional vote for her, and Nathan is blindsided.
Yeah. And
Then
Meryl
Meryl-
played her idol.
Mhm.
Yeah, and then Nathan's final words are like very sad because he knew he was so close to a merge and he wanted to get back to a Rob.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel bad. I mean, he had a rough go this season with the injuries, and then like he really was playing like aggressively and like, I'm interested how things would have gone with Nathan at the merge because I know the first time I watched this, I was actually shocked Nathan was the final pre-merge boot. I really thought that the Amigos were going to be fully together at the merge and dominate that way, but
I think he's probably in final 3.
yeah. Well, because
he'd be in that group, and Rob's never going against him.
right, exactly.
And I think Nathan's kind of very likable, and I think he probably had a shot at winning. I'd be pissed. Like Nicole makes the decision for him that he needs to be put down, and he was fine.
Yeah, well, this is a good move by Nicole because this is like kind of like what Kirby did with Eileen for Ferris, where she takes out the wedge between her and Rob. Because I can see Rob getting rid of Nicole way before Nathan. So
it solidifies her being like close to being Rob's like number one, basically. Like that, it's a good move for her in the long run. So.
Yeah, and she recovers from it with Rob very well, which she does several times throughout the season, of being able to be one of the only people that can really lie to Rob or go against Rob without any repercussions. She's very good at talking to him and explaining herself in a good way.
Yeah. All right, well, that is the pre-merge of Island of Secrets.
One thing that we didn't cover in this episode, this is when the Spit Shake 7 are formed.
Yes, the Spit Shake 7.
The grossest alliance ever.
Oh God, yeah, I had that as a note for like the merge episode, but yes, it was formed in this episode. Yeah, I'm never like making an alliance based off of you spit on your hand and shake everyone else's hand. That's disgusting.
Well, at least it's better than like cutting your hand open and then doing a blood alliance.
That's
we call it the bloodline.
I know. That's good one.
Yeah, that just reminds me of it.
I acknowledge you.
It's like it where they like cut their hand and have like that blood oath at the end. And oh God.
Dumbledore.
Yeah, Dumbledore, yeah.
Who?
All right, episode 9, we get to the final 13, the merge. It's about to kind of be a mixed bag from here on out.
Before we get to the merge, I want to say some of these quotes. Dante says that he doesn't have wild emotions, and then he argues with Nicole by saying, "I don't have wild emotions," as he's arguing with Nicole.
Yeah, he yells at Nicole and from the hammock. I'm just like, dude, chill out.
And before the merge actually happens, Rob sees that Nathan is gone, and he has this great quote: "With a Nate gone, part of me left with him. I'm afraid it's the part that would make me play nice." It's like,
Oh
ooh,
yeah,
that's
that
cold
too.
blood.
Yeah,
That's cold blooded, man.
Yeah.
it's so good. It gave me chills when he said it's so
Yeah.
good and so fitting for the rest of the season. Such a good quote.
Hmm. Absolutely. Yeah, because I can see that too. I mean, Nathan was like the part that is kind of keeping him grounded in the first half of the game. So I mean, like he literally sobbed about having to
Yeah.
potentially vote him out like the second
Yeah.
tribal. So all right. So yeah, Nicole explains to the amigos about what happened with Nathan of like she basically claims like she tells them that he basically wanted to leave the game, right? Is basically what it was.
Yeah.
And he gives Rob the necklace that Nathan wanted him to have.
Yeah.
But I'm guessing that conversation can't have happened. Why did she have the did Nathan give it to her before he left?
Yeah,
Was
I
that
think he
natural?
did. He must. I think he took it off when he knew he was getting voted out, like as the votes were coming. I
Mhm.
think.
Because
I
she really sold it as if like it was something he was aware of when
Yeah.
it really wasn't.
Mhm.
Yeah. And this conversation happens at the merch feast, which is sponsored by Steers. Right? Flame grill just tastes better, especially with hot peri peri sauce.
Perfect. More sponsorship.
Yeah, but I did like this where like they have a nice menu and you can choose what you want, but then everybody just ends up taking one of each. So it's like, why even have the menu? But they only had chocolate or strawberry shakes. That would piss me off.
Oh, geez. Yeah. Yeah, I have different flavors at least.
Well,
Um,
they had two, but it's just like give
yeah.
me give me vanilla at least.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. All right. So, yeah, this is also where Nicole gives half of the split idol to CPay. So to keep CPay on board with the amigos completely, which is absolutely going to work out until they need to cut CPay.
She says
Um,
we're married by an idol, which is a nice way of putting it.
Yep, until you're gonna get divorced in a couple episodes.
Yeah. Jacques also tells Rob about his extra vote, and there's another fantastic quote from Rob in this episode where he just says, "We already have more than enough numbers."
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, that chat takes over while they have takeout from Steers. It's like I've never seen a merch feast where they actually have take home boxes.
Yeah. Yeah. That's I've never seen a reward like that either. It's usually eat it
He is
there.
very generous.
Yeah.
Thank you, Steers, for sponsoring us here on the Tribe of Nerds.
Yes, yes, we appreciate.
Well, they've lost
uh,
their Survivor sponsorship now, so they need
Exactly.
something.
Yeah.
yeah.
Flame grilled, it just tastes better, and so does sponsorships.
Yes, yes, absolutely. Um, then we get to the immunity challenge, and this is when it rains, it pours, and this is where whoever wins gets to send somebody to skip tribal at Island of Secrets. And so Steffi wins and elects to send herself to Island of Secrets and miss tribal.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. During this challenge, Nicole had a great strategy of just talking about food and just naming it
yes,
off, and then she like knocked out half the challengers.
that was such
Yeah.
a funny thing. Like, and everybody was just like that got knocked out was like, why is she talking about food?
It was the Baden strategy from Champs versus Contenders too, where he just talks and talks and talks until everyone's sick of him, including Dirty Harry, who's sick of it. I just had to get him mentioned it.
Yay.
Yeah.
During the immunity as well, Dante gets covered in blue paint, and Corvus just says, "Hey, Smurf."
um all right. And so this is before tribal. So Meryl and Dante try to rope in Letitia and Tala with Jock's extra vote to take out Jeffrey. So that's their plan. And so then they basically see Meryl's like the one coming up with all these plans and scheming, so she becomes the target. And Jacques, he plays the extra vote to keep trust with Dante by voting with them. Which I knew he voted with them with that, but I thought like he legitimately didn't want Meryl to go, but he knows about it. So
Yeah, it seemed like he was just trying to keep his foot in both camps.
yeah.
Because I was confused about that as well. But yeah, he knew Meryl was going, right?
Yeah,
That was the take I got. Yeah.
yeah. So Meryl is voted out 7-6, becomes the first member of the jury. So
I think it's really funny at this tribal council as well. Rob portrays himself as just a follower, and he really kind of sets that in motion with the group that's the player he is, and it's just like that's not who you are at all.
right. Yeah, this was a great move to get rid of Meryl. You're getting rid of a strategist from the other side, and like you also have like a couple of targets now of like Jeffrey and CPay in the next couple of votes that are just, and Dante. Like you're gonna basically have these big targets, and then more people just keep making targets of themselves. So
Yeah,
it's
Dante.
yeah. So yeah, I mean, anything else to say about this episode or on Meryl?
I liked her from what we saw of her. She was in that group, but that didn't go to many tribal councils. But yeah, I thought she was fun from what we saw.
Yeah, yeah, I like Meryl as well. She seems like a very competent player. So,
it reminded me of she was kind of like Shanae and Tom in the previous season, where she's locked in with this whirlwind of a player, and ultimately is kind of caught up in the way that guy's playing. So she was kind of just stuck with crazy Dante.
Yeah. Yeah, I think she even said like in her final words, right? She probably shouldn't have aligned so closely with Dante.
Yeah.
So
that is Survivor 301. Don't align with Dante.
Yeah. And then so first jurors so far in South Africa. We had Meryl here, and last season we had
Lucy.
yeah, Vusi. Yeah. So
Look at my memory. It's been weeks since we did that.
Wow.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. So I mean, like between Vusi and Meryl, I would put Meryl above Vusi, honestly, because I think she's a better player.
Because she had more to do.
Yeah.
Actually, not really.
But I don't know.
But she did more. She did more with the time she had versus Vusi, who kept going to tribal but didn't really do anything.
Yeah, and then thought like challenges were like the one thing in the game that was gonna make him like stand out as good or be a good player. So
they are outplay.
Yeah, but I mean that's the only thing he had going for him. So,
and his hate for Tom.
Yeah, his hate for Tom. All right. Episode 10. So Rob is very glad the Spit Shake 7 is still able to be hidden for now. And that's what I have before the reward challenge. So you have the
Rob also says to Darrow about the Alliance of Seven. He brings him into the loop on that and says, I'm giving the 1 day take.
Yes.
Is, again, just little information drops from Rob that really gain that trust.
Absolutely. So this is where you slide discs up the curling board. So a team is going to win, team of 4. So it's Maba, Dante, Darrow, and Jeffrey that win the spa reward. And this is where Dante is trying to convince those 3 to actually start playing. But it's Dante, so nobody listens.
Yeah.
This is the one where they split the teams. It's like go over, like through a mud obstacle, and then the puzzle at the end.
They throw the coins. They have to slide the coins up like a ramp into a basket.
Oh, I'm thinking of a different one.
Yeah, I think you're on the next episode.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So and Letitia is embarrassed by her challenge performances, and interesting enough, Mike tries to convince Letitia to quit. Just like, wow.
This is also where Nico upsets Letitia, where he keeps saying she's slowing her team down, and she's just like, "Come on, Nico." And she even calls him out on the live finale as well on it.
I mean, that's what Jeff does, or used to do at least.
Yeah.
So
Boy, got too nice.
Yeah.
Now he would say, Tisha, come on. I know you can do it. We believe in you. We're going to stay here all day until you do it.
Oh my God. No.
Yeah. What a moment.
An emotional moment of this 50-year-old woman.
Yeah, and then it cuts to the next scene. And that's why you should apply to be on Survivor.
Yes.
Because you can have a moment too.
Yep.
Do you think Jeff feels emotion?
He has in the past, but
he has so much Botox now. I think it actually got into his emotions.
I feel like it's like he's like a robot. I don't know if he's a real person.
So
they just wheel him out.
So he's like Mamba, because he said she wasn't a real person at the start of this episode.
Oh, CP.
Oh, CP.
Yeah.
CP.
Yeah, he's an android and calls people humans. Sorry, Jeff. I do love you, really.
Yeah.
All right, and you're talking about Probst, not the one on Island of Secrets, right?
What?
Jeffrey
on this season of Island.
We forget half this cast.
You know what screwed me over is the different spellings of Jeff.
Oh. Yes, yeah.
Okay, that's fair. I was trying to tie us back into this episode.
Yeah.
Where Jeff goes.
Yeah. All right, we get to
Speaking of Jeff, he gets drunk at the reward as well, which...
Oh, yeah. Watching people get drunk on Survivor is funny.
It's always funny.
All right.
Most of it's sad.
Yeah.
Like Carl.
Yeah. The individual immunity is the last gasp, and Rob wins immunity. So his first of the season.
First of many.
Yes, first of many. Yes.
I also want at the last gas, Jacques, Cobus, and Cipe stood out for nachos and margaritas.
Yes.
Which I don't really blame them. I would probably do the same if I saw this challenge.
Yeah.
And then also Steffi kind of got screwed because she had to jump into the water at one end of the gate, walk the necklace all the way to Nico, and then go all the way back to her spot. So she was like burning a lot of calories doing that.
True. Very true.
I just had a couple of things just before last gasp as well. Jeff says, I will not align with Jacques. I shouldn't read. I should just say it with Jacques because I do not trust that little man as far as I could throw him, although I could probably throw him pretty far. And this is also when Jacques gets the reward steal. That's going to be a huge part of his merch game because he wants to use it for the family visit.
Yes. He did get the reward steal. Yeah, I skipped over that in my notes, but yes.
Yeah. Then as soon as he gets it, he says, I was wishing for this one all the time. It's like, really? You were wishing for a reward steal this entire time?
Yeah, he doesn't want to win it. He just wants to steal it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Also, and has a reward steal ever paid off? I don't think it ever, because I know Adam had it, Millennials versus Gen X, and he never used it.
Well, he gave it to Jay, right? So I mean, he kind of used it to give it to Jay, and kind of turned around the perception that he was going to steal the loved one's visit because Taylor was throwing him under the bus. So
Lucky and Phoebe got to eat ice cream. That's the only one that I remember. But yeah, this is going to be a big running thing for Jacques in his game of how badly he wants this reward with his family, and sadly, this is out by one episode.
I feel so bad for him that he didn't get to have this. So
we can talk about, because I feel even worse on the episode before too as well. But we'll talk about it when we get there.
All right, so we get anything before the tribal. Or are we ready to head to tribal?
Let's get rid of Jeff, who Michael didn't even remember was on this season.
Yeah. So Jeffrey is sent to the jury 9-2 to 1. As Mike even votes him out. So which crushes Maba's heart the next episode. So I mean, it's definitely shocking that Mike is just so willing to let Jeffrey go, who he's been like working with this entire game. This is absolutely a really bad move for Mike to reduce someone he can work with. But
it's again, it's exactly the same thing. Everyone just jumps on the boat because they don't want to do anything else. I did have a couple of things before this. So Dante actually tells Jeff that it's him tonight and tries to, help him out, but Dante is actually helping him, and Jeff is just completely not willing to talk to him. And considering how badly Jeff went at Dante, I thought it was actually really good of Dante to put that aside and try and make something work while they could. Jeff also tells Nicole that he won't write her name down, and Nicole says, "I didn't say the same thing to him," which is the same technique she used with the Leanne vote. This is something Nicole does where she just gets by on the technicality of like, well, I didn't say this. I thought it was like a fun little thing that she does regularly throughout this season.
Yeah, and this line is going to come back at Final Tribal. So, yeah, I don't know, but to get on Jeff, I'll have more to say later. I just think that Jeffrey is one of the most bitter people in this season, and I don't really like that. I don't like that. I feel like, yeah, he was so eager to get to tribal council and everything, and then like he massively I think overplays in his time and really sets himself up to be voted out as like third tribal council, and then just like is just super angry and bitter the entire time on the jury. And he's gonna get like the Lee Award of not shutting up at tribal. So,
yeah, I think a few people are in line for it.
Yeah.
It's a very talkative tribal. I don't think that people shout like things out, but yeah, there's a lot of little whispering and looks and nods through this merge.
There's some funny lines, but you can go.
This is also where Nico asks what should you do if there's a Final Four locked in place, and Jacques says you slit their throats, and he says there's not a puppet master, but there's a business with senior management. And I just love the fact he says right there, if there's a Final Four, slit their throats, but then nobody really jumps on it. And I don't know how, like, did they just do a really good job of not having it be seen? It's so obvious to us as viewers, but nobody really does go for them. Is that on them for being really good about hiding their intentions, or are they just not observant?
I think it's both.
Yeah, I think it's both as well, because I think Rob and Nicole are just that good at the game, but everybody else just isn't seeing what we are seeing as viewers, of course, and I don't know.
Yeah, they have like so many options, and every single player thinks they're involved in some way or another with this senior management. And yeah, it is just impressive gameplay. I just don't know how they didn't see this coming.
Yeah. All right, episode 11 I think might be my favorite episode of the season, actually. We talked about in the chat when we were watching through, but this is, along with the blind side itself, I mean, this is crazy. I mean, 4 people walk away with immunity in this episode, so which is a little bit too much, but
yeah.
But Cobus and Nicole are exiled to Island of Secrets, and you have the Tentagram puzzle that Cobus wins immunity over Nicole in. And this is where Nicole builds trust with Cobus, telling him about her idol.
Yeah.
So.
And we do start to see Rob seeing CP as the puppet master that was talked about, and getting very confident in her position in the game. And this was that immunity I was thinking about, where the 3 teams where they've got the mud puzzle and I thought it was fun.
Yeah, going back to Rob realizing that CP is the puppet master, everybody else should have realized she was the puppet master, because everybody asked her if they should kill the chicken. Like, she was the one who had the final say, is if that chicken dies. It's like, she's definitely in control if she has that power.
Yeah, it was very smart of Rob and Nicole to use CP as like the shield, very much so. But it is like crazy, because this is still kind of early in the merge, like that they ditch her at this point. Like, ideally, I feel like you want to ditch a shield like this, like middle of the merge, not like this early. But
I think they really did see how much influence she was getting, not just within her own group, but with everyone else as well. She was starting to get a really good relationship with Maba,
Mhm.
and she had good relationships within the minority. So she was definitely someone that could have
Yeah.
taken out a member of that group if she chose to. So yeah, I do think it's early in the grand scheme of things, but I think if they don't take out CP here,
Yeah.
I think she's got a real good shot of going right the way to the end.
Yeah. This was the right time for Rob and Nicole to do it. But
Yeah.
So then the immunity team puzzle with no repeating symbols or colors. So Mike, Jacques, and Dante win the challenge, which Dante winning absolutely accelerates the plan to get CPay out here. So
Yeah, this
Yeah.
worked out perfectly for Rob and Nicole, really, because I don't think they would have considered it at this point if Dante had been available to be voted out. So
yeah,
it was one of those fortuitous things that really worked in their favor.
right.
Yeah,
Exactly.
and then Dante, Jacques, and Mike get to go on the reward too with for spaghetti and an fucking awesome waterfall. That thing looks beautiful. It's like I
Yeah.
want to go there.
Yeah. Yeah. I love their waterfall rewards on Survivor because it always looks amazing.
It does.
Do you know
So-
what we call spaghetti bolognese over here?
What?
Spag ball.
That makes sense. Speckball. Because you just shorten it.
It's
And
fun.
speaking of food, the rest of the tribe makes a chicken stew with rice, green beans, and spinach. These people are fucking eating. I was taking notice, because they were like pulling down green beans and spinach from trees as they were talking about the game. It's like, my God, how much food is on that island?
Well,
Yeah.
according to Darrow, he never eats.
CPay tries to push hard for Letitia now, and this worries Rob. And so Rob makes the CPay blindside come to fruition now, and Nicole returns and they come to the same conclusion. So
Yeah, it's really fun how you see this coming together, but it's not just one person. It's multiple people kind of having the same idea and the same conversations, and it all comes to a head. It's a fantastic blindside. It's so well put together. We also see CP bringing Jacques into a final three and saying, "Don't fight this." And it's like it is such like the power has gone to her head, I think.
yeah.
You are coming with me to the final, whether you like it or not.
Rob also receives CPay's half idol back, which again, like the ability that this man has to convince people to give idols back to him, like, jeez.
Yeah. And then she says, just don't give it to Nicole. And the next scene, you just see it just handed right to Nicole.
Immediately.
Oh God.
So good.
Yeah. And so Rob and Nicole, they blind Jacques to what's really going on. And CPay is blindsided in a 7-2 to 1-1 vote. And we lose CPay far earlier than we expected. So
yeah, massively. Before this tribal council, there was a funny bit that made me laugh. Rob is pulling Mike in on the plan and telling about it, and Mike gets excited and goes, "Let's go!" And Rob goes, "Where?" Like he thought he was asking him to go somewhere with him. It's a funny little misunderstanding. He was just excited about the plan.
Mike being the excited little brother that is trying to get his older brother to take him somewhere.
We also get this crazy storyline with Dante where he's trying to pull the votes for Rob, and when he's told that it's CP, he freaks out that no, this isn't happening. That Rob's trying to trick you, and he creates a huge fuss about it. It's like if his goal is to keep the four of them together, why does it matter to him that much which one? He's still getting the result, but he's so obsessed with getting Rob at that point, and he's like the lone Rob vote, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Anything else on CPay and this blind side?
She was great.
Yeah.
Not CP, but this is also where we get Jacques having his amazing zebra and lion comparison, and the metaphors that Jacques as a tribal is so good. In Survivor, it's great to be a zebra, which I don't really know what that means, but it sounded good.
Yeah. All right, episode 12. So
I'm so sorry, Jake, but this
yeah.
has to be said because it's fantastic. Rob, in his voting confessional for CPA, says there are no strings on me, which is the perfect way to take out the puppet master. And I thought,
Yes.
like, Rob's a great player, but at times he is also a fantastic character, and he has really fun
Yes.
moments in confessional.
Yeah, I go back to that line of him realizing Nicole lied about it, and yeah, his reaction to that is so good. So, as an example, but all right, episode 12. So this reward challenge is the cylinder puzzle where they have to put like the cylinders in the right spots to create like the logo, and this is where Dante does win the reward.
Yeah, barely. He was slamming that thing in.
Like,
Yeah.
fighting with it.
Yeah, and this pisses off everybody that Dante keeps winning like the rewards. So
Yes.
Yeah,
I
he
also
takes
like
food off their plate.
yeah.
I also like how after he won and he has to pick people, he's like, I kind of wish it would have been a solo. It's like, damn.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Like, maybe Dante is the worst social player of all time. We've talked about Rob and Nicole, and like winning a reward and getting to take people is such a staple of Survivor in terms of building alliances and trying to change your game. And he says, "I wish I just went by myself." It's so crazy.
Well, he could have pulled it off if he was Tyson, because Tyson has said if he ever comes back and he wins a reward and he has to take somebody, he's gonna be like, Jeff, can I just go by myself? I need some R&R.
Oh my God.
Yeah,
so
Tyson
good.
can pass that off as just sarcastic Tyson. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And then Doral goes to Island of Secrets, and this is where he gets the cheat sheet for the memory challenge, which is very overpowered for winning an immunity.
It depends.
Yeah.
I could have that cheat sheet for a week, and I guarantee I'd be the first one out of that challenge. Like, when I saw how much there was, I was like, there's no chance.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Plus it depended on how long he actually had to study, because as it's getting dark, he's like, crap, I can't study now.
Yeah, that's true. It's easy for us to sit here and say, like, looking at watching the show and saying that it'd be really easy, and it's probably still hard. So
I'd have no. I was impressed because I'd suck at memory.
Plus he's been there for like what, 25 days, and as he says, he never eats, so obviously he's focused on his stomach. So
yeah. So then, the immunity, the memory challenge, and Doral wins with he apparently still has a great memory, and so everybody knows when they see that he must have had an advantage. So.
Yeah.
All right.
I also have this quote that Rob was talking to Cobus. If you vote out Batman, you have to vote out Robin next. And Cobus goes, "Who's Robin?"
And he says CP wasn't working alone. It's Rob putting the hit out on Jacques, which is another cold conversation with Rob. Yeah, I had that too. It's so good.
Yeah, this season has a lot of DC references. Dante's Aquaman, Rocco's Superman, and then we have Batman and Robin being Cobus and Jacques, apparently.
Yep.
All right, so the plan is to make Jacques paranoid and still take out Dante, but we get to tribal, and it might be next episode. No, it's next episode. I was gonna say this is where Jacques like buttons up his shirt and won't play it, but that's next episode. So Jacques does not play it, and Dante is voted out 5-3-1.
Yeah, so is this the one where Jacques gets a few, that this is what like sets him off, that his name comes up? Yeah,
because Rob came up with the plan of putting only a couple votes on him, so then he would get frightened. And when Rob was telling Stephanie this plan, Stephanie was just feeding Rob coconuts as he talks. It's like, wow, Rob, you really have control of this game.
Yeah.
I will say that. I will say I've had ups and downs with Dante in the season. I loved him at this tribal council. I thought he was brilliant. He basically just calls everyone out. He calls them all lapdogs. he calls out Steffi for being, annoyed about hidden advantages and idols in the game, saying they're called hidden immunity idol. And you can't
That's
be
why
annoyed
it's a
about it.
hidden idol.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll say a lot of my gripes with Dante more so come from Return of the Outcasts. But
he wasn't my favorite on this, but I do think, despite his quick to anger nature, he was the only person in this merge early on that was seeing the dynamics and actually trying to make a difference and trying to pull a minority together. He went about things in the wrong way and he rubbed people up the wrong way, but he was absolutely right about his assessment of things, and he was trying to get something going, and he was just constantly knocked back. So at least he saw the writing on the wall, and there's people that didn't see it for another 4 or 5 episodes.
Yeah, that's very true. So I'll give Dante credit there.
Yeah, I'll give Dante credit for that because, like, as you said, like, he's the only one seeing this. Like, in this next season, he's the only one saying something that ends up becoming true. It's just because of the way he does it, where people are like, I don't want to do this.
Yeah. So I don't deny Dante's a smart guy and understands the game. He just doesn't know how to say it in a way that actually makes a difference.
Yeah, he doesn't know how to control his emotions. Maybe he's the Hulk they were talking about at the opening challenge.
Yeah. All right. Anything else on Dante? Are we ready to hit episode 13?
This is the third tribal in a row where he was the only person voting for somebody.
Yeah, so funny.
Oh, geez. Well, we'll see more of him.
I'm actually, I'm quite excited to see more of him. I do think he had potential. I obviously don't know how he gets on, but like, there was something there in terms of spotting things, like we said. And yeah, I'd be happy to see him back.
Yeah. All right, episode 13. So I have the reward challenge. So this is the holding the key above the tile, but you can only compete for the same reward as someone else. So like the letters or the food. Yeah, this is a good twist.
Really good. Yeah, I think it's fantastic. They should do this more often. So it's a meal, an advantage, or letters from home.
Yes. Yeah. So Nicole wins a meal, Steffi ends up winning letters, and Rob wins the challenge advantage, right?
Yeah. Not only that though, Doral lets Nicole win, and then Mike lets Steffi win. So it's like 2 of the 3 challenges. They allow them to win to try and gain some favor, I guess.
Yeah, and then Rob gets the advantage, but he has to go to the Island of Secrets to get it, and it was a fucking awesome advantage because he got everything.
Yeah.
Like the Daisy one from All Stars.
Yeah, with the box.
Yeah.
Plus, Rob also gets to practice the puzzle for the next challenge.
Yes. Yep.
That's funny that they had that twice. It's like we just had Doral doing that, and now Rob also gets to do a practice.
I think
I think they just ran out of ideas.
Yeah, I think they just wanted to like put stuff on there for people every round. So
because they're like, wait, we have to do this every episode? We didn't think about this.
Well, we did not think this through.
Because this came out a year after Ghost Island, so they probably had like looked at that where like half the episodes nobody's getting anything. So
but that at Ghost Island wasn't it like their choice they had to play for it? I don't remember.
Well,
I've only watched it like once.
Yeah, I think it was something like that. I've only seen it twice, so
that's one of my favorite seasons.
While Rob is at the Island of Secrets, as he's eating, he says, the joys of life without Dante. That challenge is stressing me out.
He also gets his letter from home, and he says, I can recognize my dad's writing anywhere because it's ugly as hell. He has like a really nice emotional moment reading his letter. Yeah,
that was really good. I really enjoyed that.
Yeah, and he says the letter is soul food. I was like, oh yeah, I guess it would be.
Yeah. Then the immunity and a car award and balance balls in a board and land 3 of them. Rob actually breaks the car curse first.
No, I don't count this as the car curse. He gets it for 1 month. He gets the car for 1 month.
It's 1 month. I didn't.
I
didn't get that.
I had to go back 3 times to double check this. I was like, wait, what?
I was so confused. He wins a car for a month, but what? Then just gives it back? What's the point? I don't understand this.
I
That's
guess it was
weird.
just
Is it like
I
a
guess
really nice car? Is it like a supercar or something?
it must have been like a good sponsorship, but then they're like, we don't want to pay, too much.
Yeah, you can't have it. You can have it for it's the weirdest reward that you
I
get a car for a month.
I guess we'll have to ask Rob this.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
I'm legitimately curious. All right. Well, I guess if this is only for a month, then he's not the first person to break it. So
Yeah. Well,
uh,
I'm going to Google what type of car this is because it's just like, yeah, he gets it for 1 month back in South Africa.
While you're doing that, this is also Steffi starts to become very unreasonable with the idea of people having advantages and idols,
oh yeah,
and
yeah,
really
yeah.
comes down hard on Jacques for having an idol and having the goal to not use it. It's like I just I don't understand why she's so, I don't know, angry about a fundamental element of the game, and in a season where everyone's going to the island and no one goes to it more than she does,
Yeah, that's
and
true.
she's so, I don't know, mad about what other people might have.
Yeah, I don't know if it's like part of it is because like her name keeps getting thrown out there. I think it might just be that getting to her. 'Cause I don't dislike Steffi. I don't like her attitude towards Jacques either. But I don't know. I don't think I think it's more like an emotional response to like her name always being out there at this point. So
Yeah, I'm not the biggest fan, I'll say.
yeah, I get that. So she's not like my favorite player, but I don't
Yeah,
think she's the worst.
Uh,
Um,
so it would be about 329,000 Rand. So that's basically almost half the price of winning the game, which to us in America is $18,616. That's how
mm,
much it costs to buy the car, but so
yeah,
and he gets to drive for a month.
yeah,
And
I
it's
can't.
jumping
Yeah,
ahead, he does end up winning the fan favorite, so he
yeah.
does win a car anyway. So he's got
yeah,
the car for a month, and then he's also got the car for his fan favorite award.
yeah. All right, so the plan now is to split on Jacques and Cobus, and so this is where Jacques is gonna make his first bluff and talks about he can make the loved ones visit. And this is where he buttons up his shirt. Like he has it open and then he just starts buttoning it up when like Nico asks for and the idol. And Cobus and Jacques vote for each other to try to save themselves, and Cobus is voted out 5-2 to 2.
But again, this is so frustrating. So Cobus is trying to um, get the split shake 7 back on track because that kind of fell apart.
Mhm.
And then splitting the vote. It's like, why does no one capitalize on this split vote? Why
Uh,
does no one see the potential power struggles that are going on and take out someone when there's a split vote going on?
Yeah.
you guys may have talked about this while I was looking up the price of the car, but this is when Rob comes back with the idea of making up that advantage.
Oh no, we didn't. Yeah.
Oh,
Oh
yeah, we
yeah,
need to talk about this. Yeah.
yeah. So he tells Mike that he can learn 2 of the votes in the next 3 tribals.
Yes. Yes. This is genius. This is
Yeah,
actually like
absolute genius. Yeah.
outside of the box and something we've never really ever gotten before or since.
Yeah, we've got kind of people putting an extra rule or something else onto an existing advantage or idle that they've got. But yeah, just you coming up with something brand new that completely changes the game, and to the point where, I mean, this absolutely affects the game where
Yeah.
when Mike ends up coming for Rob, it's absolutely genius from Rob. This is probably my favorite thing Rob does in the season. I think it's great.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because not only did he make it up, but he made it believable. Because it's like
Yeah.
over the next 3 tribals. If you would have said like next tribals, then we could just wait. But over the next 3 tribals, like that's huge.
Yeah.
Yeah, just to keep people in line. It's so good.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, any thoughts on Cobus here?
He
With
was sassy. He was sassy and
yeah.
entertaining. He was fun.
Yeah, he's a fun character, like for the limited screen time he gets, but I mean, it's not really someone I need to see back on my screen or anything. But
Yeah, he was fun, but he didn't really affect the game all that much. Just another one in a line of people who weren't aware of the position they were in the game and goes to the jury.
Yeah.
On the jury, this is also where Jeff says she's nauseating about Nicole.
Okay, so yeah, we get the first like Jeffrey comment on everything. Yes. Yeah. I will say there's a couple of funny ones comments that we'll get to as we go, but
yeah.
So Cobus is out, and now we get to episode 14, and we get the one of the best quotes of the season that's going to blow everything up. And Jacques says he's angry, like he's been left on the outs completely, and he says he's going after the biggest mother effer out there, like with his idol, like he's just gonna take out, the biggest mother effer, and it pisses off everybody. Letitia and Steffi act like Jacques just committed a crime, like. What the heck are these people so like angry about? Like Letitia's like the angry mother, like your kid just swore around you and you're just like super like angry, like they've just done the worst thing ever. So that's what it's like.
Yeah, I mean, Jesus, it's like he's like dropped a slur or something. Like
exactly.
It's so extreme. And I don't know how much of this was legit like anger, or if there were certain players that were jumping on this, because I mean it absolutely works to the Amigos' favor that they just isolate Jacques completely from the game. If that's gameplay, it's smart and it really does help them. But if it's just pure anger, like I just think it's so overblown. And this was a brilliant chance for Jacques to actually make something work in the game. Everyone knows he has this idol that he's going to play, and who's on the bottom now. And they just completely sidestep it by not being willing to talk, which leads to the stupidest tribal council in the history of Survivor.
Yeah, I'm very interested to talk about this really dumb tribal that multiple people are making such bad mistakes. So,
I'm gonna give my thoughts on what Jacques said, but basically what Michael said, I definitely feel like it was Steffi and Letitia being mad. Like it was like a slur, but then Rob kind of being mad, but but Nicole seemed like she's like, oh yeah, I'm going to use this to my advantage and everything. And then because Jacques did this, and Rob says that nobody should talk to Jacques by themselves, Mike then tells everyone about Jacques' advantage and the rewards deal.
Yes, because he told Mike about this to try to get Mike on his side, and now that's the beans are being spilled on that now too.
You know the biggest problem with this season? It's just pure cowardice. And the fact that they said anyone that goes to speak to Jacques is going to be the target. Everyone's just too scared to do anything. Everyone's too scared to put their neck out, make a move. They're just not wanting to be next. And it's like, if you know that the only person on the outs has got an idol and he's safe, why aren't these people doing anything?
Yeah,
a group, all the minority should go to the ocean with Jacques and come up with a plan with him.
Yeah,
make something happen.
It's the Boston Rob bullshit of like we're just gonna
absolutely.
So it's so bad. So we do get this reward of Maba and Steffi are now going to go to the Island of Secrets, and they're going to play Connect 4 because this is the most exciting challenge ever in Survivor history. And the winner is going to get a clue to an idol at Tribal, and Maba wins.
The weirdest part about this is Maba gets really excited when she sees Connect 4 and she says, it's because Noughts and Crosses is her favorite game. This isn't Noughts and Crosses.
Yeah, this is totally different.
Yeah, wait, I was like confused. I'm like, is that what they called Connect 4?
Yeah, I thought maybe they did, but there's no way. It's so random.
Well, so another thing that frustrates me is like Maba sees she gets this advantage. She's like, I'm not going to tell anybody that I got any sort of advantage. She then goes and tells Steffi it's something completely different, but she still says, I got this advantage. And I'm like, what are you doing?
And you told the person who was very vocally against advantages and idols and stuff in the game, except Rob's for some reason. Nobody cares about that one. But yeah, don't tell her that. Of course, she's going to want to flush it out. And it's one that's going to be useful to her at a later date. So, of course, it's going to speed up the process of them wanting to get her out.
Well, Well, she had to tell Steffi because Steffi was there when she won it. So, right?
You didn't have to.
Well, but obviously Steffi knows something. Like Mama won something, so you have to say something.
Make her feel uncomfortable. It's this idea that you have to share everything. If Mama knew the situation she was in,
yeah,
she'll say, "I got something. I'm not telling you about it." She'll go talk to Jacques and say, "We now tell Jacques we have two idols.
Yeah.
Who can we pull in?"
Exactly.
They could have changed the game.
It frustrates
I'm so
me.
angry.
Yeah. Mama is a terrible Survivor player in my view. She hasn't done anything up to this point. I love Rob's quote later in the episode where he's like, yeah, Mama is now like the biggest threat. Who would have thought?
Who would have thought?
So then the immunity challenge is you untie the key, swim out to the ocean and untie the key, and you complete the 3D puzzle, and this is where Nicole wins.
Yeah, this puzzle looked tough. Those pieces were so small.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, I don't even think I could do that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like a really intricate little puzzle. It looked good.
Yep. All right. Anything else before we head to the tribal where we'll have air out our frustrations?
I do. Because this is when Mike pitches Jacques to join Nicole and Mama to get rid of Rob and to sing Jingle Bells at Tribal. And the subtle and in the subtle way he tries to tell Jacques that we're going to do this. Hey guys, it's only 9 more months to Christmas.
Yeah, it's just so funny because Rob already knows about it, so it's just so awkward.
Yeah,
like it kind of reminded me Survivor UK where Christopher comes running in with his pretending he'd found an idol, but everyone he tells it to has already been told by Doug that it's a fake thing. It's like that way he's singing Jingle Bells, and everyone already knows that it's a fake. What's the word? Hints that that's what we're doing at Tribal Council.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then Jacques immediately tells Rob this, and then this is when Rob gives Jacques the idol, and then Jacques just immediately gives it back.
Yes, this is such. I said in the chat, I'm like, I forgot this happened, but it's such a beautiful move by Rob to like, and somehow it like works because a lot of times you've seen this happen in other seasons, and it backfires in that person's face completely. And that didn't happen. Rob had so much trust with Jacques that he was able to just get it back immediately.
Yeah. And Rob's someone that he had idols and advantages. He never needed any of that stuff. I honestly think he wins 5 communities. I don't think he needs any of them.
Yeah.
He's someone that just he used these things as leverage, kind of like a Ferris way. But he never actually needed them. And this is just another trust exercise from him. And it's brilliant. You can't fault him.
Yeah. And then this is the episode where Rob tells Mike he is using his advantage tonight. So then that blows up Mike's
so good.
Yes.
So good.
Beautiful.
It's like, God, man.
Beautiful.
And then Jacques tells Rob that Mike's aborted the mission. It's so funny when Rob's just laughing to me like, I scared him with a simple bluff.
Yeah. So tribal. We got Jacques playing his idol preemptively, doing a bend move, like in Heroes, Healers, Hustlers, and so basically, saying, "Oh, I'm gonna vote for Rob," and you all know that, and you can either jump on board, because if you vote me, it's gonna be all to waste.
Genuinely, I've watched 46 seasons or whatever of US Survivor, 10 of Australia, UK. This is the stupidest thing I've ever seen on Survivor.
Yeah.
They both, is it Mike and Maba?
Yeah, Mike and Maba both vote for Jacques.
They both put Jacques' name down when he's already played an idol and their votes are meaningless. And, what are you doing? They had all day to talk to the guy, but they were told they weren't allowed, so they didn't. And even, Durao, when he's just like, oh, nice try, Jacques. And even a tribal, nobody says anything. And you can see the frustration in Nico when Nico is saying, somebody's going home. It's not Jacques. So it's one of you. Do you want to talk? And they just sit there in complete silence. It's embarrassing. It's one of the most embarrassing things I've seen on Survivor.
Oh, and then it gets worse because Maba finds the idol in the urn and
Yeah.
does not play it.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
She
terrible.
has to, yeah, she has to have the record of the shortest time ever with an idol. Because,
Yeah.
well, because what was that, like maybe 3 minutes? Like by the time
Yeah.
she had got back and got voted out?
Yeah,
What made her not?
I don't even know what to say. It's like it's so baffling. I don't know what to say about it. It's the dumbest thing I've ever seen.
Yeah, this I think this belongs in that category of top 5 dumbest moves ever. So
Like there was strategy involved with what Eric did. It was a
Yeah.
crazy thing. It was a
Yeah.
dumb decision,
Yeah,
but there was strategy involved in it.
It could have
You-
worked.
you-
And even James going home with 2 idols, it was a big risk, but if it would have worked, he would have made it to the end. So it's just like, this is like, there is no downside.
yeah,
This is saying I don't care that I have no agency in this game.
Yeah.
I don't care that my vote does not matter. I'm going to vote. You might as well just not vote it.
yeah, yeah,
Just say, well, I'm just not going to vote. Forget it.
yeah.
Just tear up the parchment. Just go home. I think.
Well, and at least play your freaking idol, and then at that point, if Maba does, then Rob plays his negating Jacques vote anyway, and then Mike goes home. So I mean, yeah, they Mike and Maba like literally screwed themselves so much.
Yeah. I have no more words. Just dumb. So
Yeah,
dumb.
I think you've had enough to say. Yeah, I think we know this is dumb.
Yeah, let's move on.
It's so angry. It makes me so angry.
Yeah,
I remember watching this the first time, and like I just like stared at my screen afterwards for like a good couple minutes. Like, what the fuck did I just witness?
yeah. I was
In a bad way.
Right. I was when I watched this for the first time because Austin Fote and I were watching it on essay together basically, and we were just like we were both like we were like yelling at the screen. It was so bad.
I could not believe my eyes when I saw Jacques' name.
Yeah.
I couldn't believe it.
This is insanity. I don't know. I think we've said enough on it, but like yeah. Episode 15, sadly we have to say goodbye to Jacques. So Mike now decides he wants to break the embargo by talking to Jacques now that him and Maba just screwed up everything. So I don't know why this wasn't done sooner, Mike, but congrats.
When you had numbers?
Yeah, exactly. We do get to the reward challenge, which is the lotto item swap, which is pretty cool. It's like a really creative way to do the auction. So I actually really like this and involves strategy of like, are you gonna let your like the person like not in your alliance to get like this advantage, or like how are you gonna play it? So I really liked this.
It's a nasty Christmas from the US office.
Yeah. And this is where Steffi is gonna get to go to the Island of Secrets and see her best friend Gina.
Yeah.
So
poor Jacques because he had that one and then it was taken from him. But then Steffi's reaction to the second mystery box, she's like, "Oh shit, there could be another advantage."
Right. Yeah.
I will say Jacques handles this so well. Like I don't think I've ever seen someone so isolated and targeted like that, where it's like people aren't even willing to talk to the guy, and he really does handle it well. I'd have been so pissed off. I don't think I could have held myself together like he does.
Yeah, he's just seems like he's a very stand-up guy, and so I really enjoyed like how he handled himself.
Yeah.
So all right, so Steffi talks to her best friend, and her best friend Gina is like, "Hey, you should make a move on Rob and Nicole," which is gonna just set Steffi up for failure now, even though she should make a move, but like
I said, even as someone who's not in the game can see the dynamics better than the players. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy.
This was another reason why I was sad for Jacques, because his loved one would have been there on the island. So that's why I really wish he would have gotten to go to the Island of Secrets.
Yeah, he could have got it here, or if he survived one more round, he would have got it.
It's just like he missed out both.
Times.
Yeah. It's like,
Yeah, absolutely. I missed the immunity challenge, apparently, my notes. Which one was this again?
Oh, this was just build a card house on the wobbly beam.
Yes, yeah, yeah,
Mike
yeah, yeah.
Mike wins.
Yeah,
Mike wins. Yes, he does. Yeah. So Mike wins this challenge. His only other challenge win after like the team one. And this is where Jacques is like frantically looking for another idol, and this is somehow where Letitia comes out of nowhere and finds the idol.
Yeah. I so frustrating. I remember watching it and it shows the camera pans and shows you the idol right by his feet, and he just doesn't say it. And then yeah, the most unlikely, kind of like Bilbo Baggins finding the One Ring. It's like the most unlikely person comes along and finds it.
And she doesn't do anything of value with it besides like she saves herself, but like
Yeah.
not she doesn't actually use it to the great effect that she could have.
Yeah. So your Bilbo Baggins example may actually work because then with her advantage later, she won't let it go.
Yeah.
That one's
again,
frustrating.
If she saw the position she was in, play the idol on Jacques.
Yeah.
You and Jacques, there was already votes on Steffi at that tribal, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it's four.
It was 4-3. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, and you keep Jacques in the game, you take out a big threat. Yeah, you're probably going to be targeted, but you're not going to win anyway. You have a shot with your idol to take someone out at this tribal council. Jacques he's like an island out there.
Yeah.
So many people should have been working with him. He could have pulled Mike in. Durow's going to find out that he's, expendable.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. This was an interesting that Drow and Mike are finally trying to make something, and they're out of time. So but I was disappointed to see Jacques go, but like obviously we knew it was coming. So I mean it's crazy that it was even like by a 1 vote difference, and like if someone else had been actually like if Letitia had actually been willing to make a move, or Steffi, Steffi was on the chop block, sorry. If Letitia had actually been willing to make a move, then like it could have changed everything.
Yeah. But no, nothing happens.
Yeah.
Oops.
The exact person you think is going to go goes every single time.
Yeah.
And I love Jacques. I think he's such a fun player and a real light in this season.
Yeah, I mean, from going to horribly misplaying to actually, making some like correct like attempted plays and it just not working out.
Yeah.
So
yeah, just don't say motherfucker next time.
Yeah, apparently it pisses everybody off for you to drop the F-bomb.
Yeah.
All right. Episode 16. This is where we get the reward immunity challenge of the loved ones. So sadly, Jacques just missed out again. And this is where you knock down targets with the sandbags, and Rob and his mom win. And Rob wins immunity again.
One quick thing before the immunity. Steffi coming back from that tribal says, I've been cruising along, but now I declare war.
What? This is also where Rob, you like the edit even shows like Rob's reaction when Steffi talks to Gina, and like when he notices like how she's interacting with her friend, and like that she has clearly seen her already.
Yeah.
Like so good.
Such a good read. So back to the immunity / reward challenge quickly. Letitia almost takes out Nico, which I thought was hilarious. And then Rob wins and takes Letitia because she's old.
Yeah. This is where we're gonna get the best, like one of the first like jury quotes.
You gotta just say it now. It's so good.
Okay, yeah. So Rob is like, she doesn't have much time left or whatever, and Jeffrey on the jury is just like, she's not dead, she's 50.
Yeah. Yeah, this is just like Kyle telling that to Sue in season 47.
Yeah.
You still have plenty of time.
Yeah, it's so, I don't know. The other one that comes up, I might as well just say it as well, is it might be the next episode, but like where Rob's talking up his game and Jeffrey's just like, this man is so entitled, he thinks he's like God.
Yeah.
They're so angry. Jeez, it's hilarious. But yeah, I mean, anything else before we get to Mike's complete demise here?
We do get Mike talking to Durao about a potential plan, and he's just wasting his breath. Durao is just a puppet. He's not even a player. He's just a puppet for Rob. We talk about George's pawns. I think Rob's pawns are even more just that. At least Jerry had some game sense about him, and I thought did a decent job. Like Rob's pawns are just nothing.
Yeah.
Well, it was such a great moment when they realized, oh crap,
it's worth it for that. Yeah.
Oh, this is also where Letitia, Steffi think they're getting Nicole for like an all-women final three, and Letitia reveals her idol to everyone. What are you doing, woman?
Do you think this final three would have been better for Nicole?
Against Steffi and Letitia?
I think so.
Because I think I
would have to hope so, but that jury was bitter against Nicole, so
yeah, but
we did say at Final Travel she really does sell herself, and I think Steffi and Letitia that was definitely the better path for her. I don't know what she really was thinking.
Well, she still almost like ties it up with Rob. I mean, like she was close, so I can't
absolutely.
I can't really say, like, I mean, maybe there's a chance she's able to swing. I mean, that jury was so bitter though. So yeah, I mean, it just sucks, but I would hope she would have beaten Steffi and Letitia for sure.
Yeah. I mean, she should have done, but yeah, who knows?
Yeah. Who knows? All right. And so, yeah, then we basically get, this is where Durao and Mike are like openly talking about like how they're just screwed and like they're on the bottom. And yeah, so Mike is voted out 4-1-1.
It's so funny. Mike's just like, oh, that's so clever of you. And then Durao's still trying to work it out. And it's like the jury's just all got their heads in their hands. At least, Mike finds the funny side in it, I guess. But yeah, he's been completely played.
Yeah, I wanted like Mike, but the fact that he just made such horrible strategic plays, I can't really give him too much credit.
Nah.
So, all right. Anything else to say on Mike?
I'll never forgive you for a couple of episodes ago or whatever it was, last episode.
Yeah. All right. Episode 17. So this episode has some decent moments, decent blindside here, just because a lot ends up happening with it. But so first we have a reward of balancing. You have to balance a goblet on a little platform or statue thing, and does Rob win this as well?
Yeah.
Probably.
And then he takes Nicole to check out the giant bats and eat some hot dogs.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, because Nicole was very upset about not being sent to the island, or being sent to the island because she wanted to spend time with her family. So Rob does this as like apology for hurting her in that way.
Yes. Yeah. Good for Rob to completely recover from something that in other scenarios maybe could have been deadly, but so
yeah.
Then let's get to a very frustrating twist that I don't know what production was thinking. They drop a vote nullifier that can go till final four. What are you doing, production?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's way too much power for final four. It ends up coming to nothing, but like, for a player in that season, if you went home, because of something like that, man, would you be pissed? Like there's a reason things stop at final five, final six. At a certain point, you can't be affecting the game when there's only a couple of votes in play.
Yeah, exactly. So
when this advantage came out, Letitia says this is a seriously confused octopus. I was that seriously confused octopus when I saw that it goes to final four. It's like, I don't mind a vote blocker, maybe if you have gotten this at merge and then it lasts like final six or something. But this now, it's like, what the? This is almost like Tony's Super Idol, where that he got at like 6 or 7. It's like, oof, just too much.
Yeah, it's bad. I don't understand it. And I mean, luckily it's Letitia has it, so she's not going to do anything with it. So
Yeah, literally, yeah. Take it off. Now, before we get to the immunity as well, there's a huge thing that happens in this episode that I'm so curious about how it would have played out. This is where Nicole plants the seeds with Rob that they all just save their idols, they put them around their neck,
Yes.
and they don't play them with the plan of blindsiding Rob. Does he not win immunity?
yes,
And I think she gets through to him.
Yeah.
I think
Yes.
he really likes that idea. He does end up winning immunity. Like, do you think that would have panned out? I could totally see him not playing the idol and just going down on trust.
I could see it too, because she even has this quote when she's pitching it. But I will not waver. I'll be by your side at the end because the world needs to see you shine. Because she does a great job of always like pumping people up. Yeah.
Yeah, this was really good on her. And this is like the reasoning of like, I mean, she also wants to keep Rob because of like she wants like a guy who has been empowering the women there to succeed. So yeah.
I'm just so curious how it would have played out if he didn't win. Like, what an amazing way to blindside a player like Rob. You convince him not to play his idol.
This, I think, might be the only time he might have needed the immunity, but
yeah.
So I don't know. But yeah, so it's the immunity challenge, puzzle maze, Rob wins it. Yeah.
The Fitz Tower.
Yeah.
The Miss Michelle, and I'm off the Rob train because he doesn't kick it.
Yeah.
Oh, sad. Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, this puzzle wasn't as hard because there were multiple pieces that were just one size. So you just had to put it there instead of like stacking. I was like, oh, that's way easier.
Yep.
And then Letitia calls Rob a son of a bitch for not even because he finished the puzzle before she even got to open her bags.
That was actually funny. All right. So yeah, then we get to tribal, and this is also where like so Nicole basically tells Rob about this women's alliance, and so basically is like, let's take out Steffi because she betrayed the amigos, as we're gonna get the quote at the end of tribal. So
this is where sorry.
You go.
Okay, fine, I'll go. This is where Steffi pitches that everyone wears the idols entering tribal, and then Rob's like, nah, how about we all just take it out and play it later?
Yeah, it's good. Michael?
Yeah, I was going to say, I think so. Rob winning this immunity, I think Nicole just panics and goes off this plan, but I do think that her best bet here is to still take out Doral, because I think then going into that final, she has all the options available to her.
Yes.
And if she wanted to go with that final 3 women, she could. Does Rob not win immunity? But this way, she's now locking herself into the Rob final 3. It makes for a fantastic move. I love the Steffi blindside, but I don't think it was necessarily the best one for Nicole.
No, I think this is probably kind of the decider almost, although Nicole still comes very close, but
yeah.
And then Rob has this quote when they agree to take out Steffi: "We take out our targets the second they present themselves. We don't give them time to work against us." It's like, yeah, he's right.
True. Very true.
They said it's clinical.
It's like whack-a-mole. But the mold never pops back up.
So we get to tribal, and so Nicole plays her idol on Doral, Rob plays it on Nicole, and Letitia plays it on herself, and they shouldn't even have read the votes because Steffi is automatically out.
Yeah.
I was so mad when they started reading the books. Like, why?
We know the outcome.
It's a surrey moment.
Yeah.
But also, even more brutal is Rob stands up and holds the idol over Steffi's head as he's plan of putting it on her neck, and then stabs her in the back.
Yep. And then Nicole says, we did this because you betrayed the amigos.
Yeah, and then she goes, when?
When?
Oh, geez, this was harsh. And for all intents and purposes, I thought I remembered Steffi being super bitter, but she doesn't. She ends up being one of the
Yeah.
least bitter.
Yeah, same. Yeah.
So
I remember her being super bitter. Maybe I was bitter for her. Just
yeah,
like,
I mean, she
yeah,
does have a big rant, but she brings it full circle. She
right.
does get everything she has to say off her chest. But
Yeah.
yeah,
And sometimes people just need to do that on the jury, and then they
yeah,
end up voting for the best player that, in their opinion. So
yeah.
yeah. Another thing, we already said that Nico reads the votes. Not only does he read one vote, he reads both of them. It's like, why are you even doing that?
it's so weird. It's so weird. Um, anything to say on Stuffy here?
I
like
wasn't
her.
a big fan.
I like
I
her.
I think her. I don't know. She was very aggressive and emotionally involved with people. I didn't like that side of her, but yeah, she was she's fine.
Yeah, I liked her more on the rewatch than I did the initial watch. So, but all right, the finale of Island of Secrets, episode 18. I mean, I don't know that there's too much to say, but for Final Tribal, I mean, Rob wins the final immunity, which is balancing the ball on the pole, like adding the pieces to it. And
Malcolm. Yeah.
yes,
I
yeah,
was no, I have as the Amanda Kimball Micronesia challenge because Rob even uses her Amanda's strategy of changing the grip each time.
yeah, yeah. True. So yeah, and basically it's just funny that Letitia's the fallen angel of the season because just not what you would think from a fallen angel.
Yeah. Not like
So
the big threat that usually gets taken out. Yeah.
yeah, and then Letitia doesn't even use the nullifier, and Nico brought her out on stage, and she like tries to justify it as like, I mean,
Well, it is justifiable at the final four. I mean,
right,
it's like it's just been 2-1, but still.
right, yeah,
But now it's going into her son-in-law's bar for forever.
Yeah.
true, true. All
I do
right.
like when Letitia tries to talk to Rob and says how Nicole sets the jury off with her Mother Teresa wannabe voice. But everything she says about Nicole is only pushing Rob to want to take her to the end more.
Yeah,
She's basically
exactly.
saying the jury hates her, vote her off. It's like, well, no, if the jury hates her, I'm going to take it to the end.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't think Letitia got the game at all. So, and she's somehow the fallen angel. So, whatever. I don't know. Anything else to say on Letitia?
No, just before we get to Final Tribal Council, though, at the beginning of the episode, we do have our winner from last season, Tom, in the audience.
Yes, yes.
So it
Tom
is nice to see
Swartz.
him. Yeah.
Yeah, and speaking about going to the live studio, Rob's outfit choice is
Yes.
a little bit weird. I just want to say that now.
Where
I don't know.
he's not dressed up. He has the tank top with his muscles out and then has
Well, no, yeah, that's the part I'm talking about. It's
Yeah,
like
yeah.
It's like a tiger thing.
Yeah, well, I was only saying that because he's not like dressed up. Generally, everybody is dressed in like suits or dresses or like.
To be fair, if I was as fit as Rob, I would be like, hey, come on.
Well, that's true. He is, and that's why like the perception of him from me was always like he is a big guy because of the muscles.
Yeah.
But I guess you can still be a big guy and still be short. So, but
Like Wolverine.
yeah, exactly. Wolverine. Yeah. Yeah, unless you're Hugh Jackman, then you're like 6'2". But
Like we got some Marvel in there after all the DC characters we talked about.
yeah, exactly. All right, we get to Final Tribal. Take it away, you guys, with the questions and interesting moments because there's a lot.
I'll let you go
There's
first.
a lot. I do like that Jacques starts Final Tribal by telling Darrow that he sucks.
I didn't like that. I thought that was rude.
I was like,
It was
poor
rude. I just thought it was
Darrow.
funny.
I was
He
like,
says he pulls the Spencer, you have 0% chance of winning the game. And
I'm
anyway,
just
let's
like-
talk about the other two. It is harsh, but it's funny that throughout this Final Tribal Council, people don't even acknowledge Darrow's there. We also get it with Steffi, where he's like, "Oh, sorry, Darrow, you just enjoy your seat."
well, Mike is the only one to acknowledge Doral and being like, hey, I'm just going to acknowledge that you don't have a 0% chance of getting my vote.
Yeah. And Maba kind of goes to bat for him a little bit, but yeah.
Little.
Yeah.
Yeah, Doral was like the Troy Zane of game changers here, where it's
Yeah.
like he really had no chance. I feel bad for him, but
Yeah,
he made it to the end. So
he did. And I think it's mainly because of that social game. He's, again, like I said, sweet guy, just didn't play the greatest. Not a good strategy at all, but
Yeah. One last thing on Doral before we move on to the meat of the tribal council. Letitia's question, she says, if you can't convince me, then confusion is going to end up winning the game, and points to Doral. He's just getting battered.
And then right after that, she says, I don't know what Doral would even do with the money. And then Doral goes, maybe buy bananas.
Yeah, poor guy.
Any other interesting comments before we?
Yeah, what do you got, Matt? There's so many.
I got my no is Dante's speech to Rob is stupid. You voted me out because I was a challenge to you. No fucking shit. That's what Survivor is.
I hate when people do that. I had it happen in my Survivor Vanquish season of like one of the jury members like asked all three of us, me and Greg and Lamuel, like flatter me, tell me why I'm great. And it was the dumbest question, and I still like flattered them because I'm not going to try to lose a jury vote.
Yeah, of course.
But
yeah.
I was just like, and then they didn't even vote for me, even though I actually did the best job, in my opinion, of like flattering them, giving them what they wanted. And it's just like, it's so stupid because like half the time that person is still going to like vote how they want and not who actually gives the best answer.
Yeah, they just wanted a pat on the back before they do what they were going to do anyway.
I hate that.
I have a couple more, and then I'll tee you up, Michael, because I know there's one you mentioned in the chat this morning that I know you want to bring up. Jeff lays into Nicole pretty hard. You're an insecure girl who uses her struggles as leverage. My God. Nicole also
complex.
Yeah, it's like, what the fuck? Nicole also called herself middle-aged. What the fuck? She was 32 when she was on this season.
That is not middle-aged.
That's not middle-aged. Now I know why Shannon Gus had like why she was afraid when the middle-aged mafia started, because she was like 29. She's like, I'm going to turn 30. Am I middle-aged?
I remember that. Yeah, she was fat because Mark called himself middle-aged. Yeah.
And then Meryl feels sorry for Nicole as a mom. And then I'll let you go from there, Michael.
Yeah, that was the main one I had, where Meryl says, I feel sorry for you as a woman and as a mom. Like, and Nicole just sat there like, geez, like Nicole didn't do anything to deserve that level of animosity at all. She played a fantastic game. She played hard. I do think Nicole had a fantastic final tribal where she went through her strategy. She talked about how she did lie. She owned that. And I do think both Rob and Nicole's final closing speeches were both fantastic. We have Rob telling Mike about the fake advantage, and both of them go through outwit, outplay, outlast, and list off the things that they did. So I think it's really fitting that this is a close vote, because I think their games were very similar, their final tribals were very similar, and they're both fantastic players. And it's good when this season's been a bit, predictable, but it's good when you have two fantastic players at the end who both deserve to win, and it's which one of them's going to take it out.
Yeah, and then for Nicole, one of the last things she said, you're entitled to base your vote on emotion and hurt, but I hope some of you look logically. It's like, yes, please talk about that. Yeah, because she did a great job, because she almost won even with a bitter jury who hated her. That's impressive.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah, I am wondering actually if she would have been able to sway one more vote, who Doral would have broken the tie for. I honestly don't know, because he had good moments with both. So
yeah, 100%. He's voting for Rob. 100%.
Yeah, I think he's going to vote for Rob. I'll ask.
He was in love with Rob.
Yeah, I know he was, but he also had like the moments with Nicole where he's like, he loved talking to her, and like,
yeah, sure.
So I don't know. It probably would have been Rob, but I don't know.
That would have made the season even better, where it just ends on a tie.
Yeah. for sure.
Would that be the second? Is the Ghost Island the only time that's ever happened?
Yeah, that's the only one I know of.
Yeah, yeah. In actual Survivor, yes. If we're counting Vanquish, then Kevin and Mikey Powell
We
in
don't count.
second chances. Uh, all right. So that's gonna do it. Rob wins 6-4-0 over Nicole and Doral. So Rob Bentele is the next winner of Survivor South Africa. And before we get to ranking him, let's do our awards.
Well, Rob also got that car, and he gets to keep it.
Oh yeah,
And
Yeah.
Here's a trivia fact I found out. Jake, maybe you can confirm. Maybe this is just for South Africa. Nicole is the first castaway to have voted for the person who was eliminated at every tribal council she attended.
Oh,
Ooh.
wow.
Is that just South Africa? 'Cause I was thinking maybe Denise, because I know she went to every.
She went to
Tribal.
every tribal, but I think the Jeff Kent tribal she didn't vote correctly.
Okay.
Because that was one of the crazy ones where it was between Pete and Jeff Kent, and her and Malcolm voted for Pete.
Okay. So then I'll just say that's for worldwide, because I couldn't think of anybody.
I couldn't
Also-
think of anybody either.
Unless if it's like somebody, who's who only went to 3 tribals or something, and
Yeah, well, I'm
and
trying to
then-
think.
And then got evac'd.
Well, the only other ones, Kim and Boston Rob, but they probably split the vote in
That's
other
the most-
ways.
yeah.
Yeah, so probably not. But
Yeah, that's impressive.
yeah, it's very impressive. All right. So favorite player, I'm gonna go with Jacques. I was gonna think between Rob, but I gotta pick my boy Jacques. I loved his story of going from being extremely messy and still able to somehow almost make it through. Yeah, I gotta pick Jacques.
I have a feeling I know who Matt's going to go, so I just got to give it to Rob, because I think
Mhm.
it can lead to a predictable season like we've discussed, but man, the control this guy had and
Yeah,
what he was able to do in this game it's so impressive. And
yeah.
there was a 2-headed dragon, and maybe the second-headed dragon's about to be said. I don't know, but yeah, I'm going to go for Rob.
Yeah.
Sorry, that made me imagine that meme. So we have Rob, Nicole, and then there was Doral.
And Doral, yeah.
The Drow's the goofy dragon. Yeah. Oh, it's perfect.
Yeah, so to mix up, I will pick Nicole.
Mhm.
I did like Rob more on this rewatch, but yeah, I feel like Nicole played a better game to me. I liked her game more. Although Rob's game, God, it was so damn good. It's as I said, Nicole is the Sabrina to Kim in One World, where they both play amazing games. It's just one great game runs into a iconic game. So this is the card to.
Yeah.
Agreed.
I'd like to
Agreed.
give a special shout out to CP as well.
CP's great too.
They were the pillars. I think everyone we've mentioned is the pillars that hold this season up.
Mhm.
Yeah, and then I'm going to Leanne as well.
Ting Ting was robbed.
I'm not arguing with that one.
Yeah. All right. Least favorite player. I'm actually gonna go with Jeffrey. Just because I think he increasingly got better. And the fact he in 3 tribals he managed to destroy everything he could have had built up, and just was just super entitled and super bitter, and always just wouldn't shut up at tribal councils, and with his disgust. And I don't know, I just personally think Jeffrey's my least favorite for the season.
Yeah, I don't care about the rules. I'm taking 2. And I feel bad about both but they both genuinely seem like really nice people. But Mabra and Mike, to me, I cannot get over that. I cannot get over what happened at that tribal council, and it's so bad. I'll be thinking about that for years. When I think about South Africa, that's probably the first thing I'm going to think about.
Yeah.
I was going to pick somebody, but then after this chat, maybe swayed my mind. I was going to pick Jacques, but then this chat helped sway me. Just because I felt he was entitled during Final Tribal, and that really rubbed me the wrong way.
Ooh.
But after chatting with you guys, I did like his game, even though it was messy. But then I wasn't going to pick Mamba, but you already picked it. and then I was gonna pick Jeff, but you already picked
We
it.
can have the same.
Yeah.
I'll just pick two as well. Jeff and Mamba
Ooh.
for
There
the
we go.
same reason, for the same reasons you did. Mike, at least he tried to play, like when he realized, he was out, but
Yeah.
still just that move of voting for Jacques.
Yeah.
It wouldn't count.
Yeah. So best move, like there were so many good ones that Rob and Nicole made, so it's kind of tough for me. I'm gonna go with the vote itself, and I'm gonna go with the CPay blindside, just because it ended up being at the exact right time, even if like you would think it'd be a little too early. They managed to make it work and do it at the exact right time. So
Yeah, I think in terms of tribals, it's either the CPA one or the Steffi one. I'm gonna go for the amazing strategy from Rob of the fake advantage.
mhm.
I think it's so clever, and it scares everyone into submission for the rest of that merge. It's so good until he's too powerful to be able to be stopped.
Yeah.
I was going to pick that if you did it. And then I was about to pick Rob gives the idol to Doral, but then Doral gives it back, so it's not really that impressive. So I'll do it. I'll go with Nicole getting the wedge out of Nathan so then she can get closer to Rob.
Yeah. That's a good one. All right. And then who should return? I'm gonna say Jacques. I think that Jacques should have returned. I'm very shocked that he didn't, and I still don't know the reasoning.
I'll tell you why when we get to it.
Okay. Yeah, so I'll pick Jacques.
I'm you know what, after watching this, I'm very excited to see Australia versus the world and see how Rob does. I think it's gonna be interesting watching him play again.
Yes.
Yeah, I'd love to see Jacques back. I'm excited to see what Tanya does, and I guess Felix. And yeah, CP.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then mine, you guys already know, is Nicole, who I adore.
Oh yeah, Nicole, of course.
Yeah. Which I feel like she should have been asked back for Australia versus World as well, just to have more South African people. But it makes sense
Absolutely.
why
That would be great, the two of them. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, but it probably makes sense why you don't have two people from the same season. Oh wait, Luke, David, Janique.
Sarah,
Yeah,
George and Shawnee.
yeah,
Tony, Saray,
Yeah.
Tony
and Parvati. They've
Yes.
all
Yeah.
played in multiple seasons.
Yeah.
Michael, since you don't know who actually returns, do you want to try to guess the 5 people from the season, or do you just want to?
Oh, there's 5
Yes.
from this season.
Yeah, you already know 2.
So I know Tanya and Felix.
Mhm.
Oh no, I know 3 because someone said Dante.
Oh yeah.
So there's 2 more that come back. Who would they ask? I would hope CP.
She may
Okay.
have been asked, but she doesn't come in.
Oh, okay. Maybe Corbus. He was fun. I can't even think of who would be.
Do you want me to just tell you?
Durao?
No.
It was
Okay, cool.
it was Meryl and Steffi.
Yep.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, I think they're okay people to come back. Actually, yeah, Meryl, I think is someone that I'm excited to see actually play a second time.
I think you'll enjoy it.
Yeah, I do as well. Well, were you gonna say the reasoning why Jacques didn't come back? Or are we gonna do that off?
Oh, we could do. Oh, I was going to do it on Return of the Outcast. Well, I've heard it was because it was still in 2022 where there were some COVID restrictions.
Yeah.
And as we learned, Tony got COVID right before the season of
Mhm.
Return of the Outcast on the interview. But he lives in London now, so like the travel and the job, it was a little bit too much.
That makes sense. Because I would
Plus
think he
his
would have
family.
been. Yeah, I think he would have been asked for it.
I definitely think he was asked. And then when we get to Return of the Outcast, I'll tell you a fun story about how Jacques still affected the game, even though he wasn't in it.
Yeah.
Jake already knows. Jake already
Yeah,
knows it.
I do know. Yeah. All right. Let's get to the rankings. So let's rank Rob Bentele, who I'm very excited to talk to, which we'll talk about at the end. But so the current rankings of the winners, the 11 winners of International Survivor. We have the Golden God, David, at number 1, followed by Ferris, Mark Wales at number 3, Haley at 4, Pia at 5, Liz 6, Matthew from UK at 7, Jericho at 8, Christie at 9, Shangold at 10, and Tom Swartz at 11 in last place.
Still can't believe he got last.
Yeah. All right. It's going to be interesting. I think Rob
Yeah.
at least deserves top 3. I'm going to
Yep.
push for Rob Bentele to be number 1, even over
Oh.
David. And the reasoning is because of the fact that Rob played this dominant game and won on his first try, as opposed, and I'm not holding it against David that it was his second, but if we're looking at this, it's very hard for someone to play this dominant of a game and win on their first time. That's my reasoning, but I won't be mad if like Rob gets knocked down a couple, but I really do think, I mean, I think it has to be between him and David. I like Ferris a lot, so I'd be very happy to obviously still have Ferris be in the top 3. Yeah, that's my reasoning for Rob.
Yeah, my thinking on this was I agree. I don't think anyone's played a stronger game than David or Rob. I think Rob, when you look at each of their games, so Ferris is someone who had a lot of ups and downs of people coming at him. Rob and David both essentially were just untouchable for the entire game.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you want to factor in, obviously David wins in a 9-1 or 8-1, whatever that jury was. Versus,
that's true too.
This being a very close vote between Rob and Nicole. And I think Rob struggles with owning the game that he plays and accepting the player that he is. Whereas David's final tribal council is him essentially. It's the golden god on full display of this is what I did. I betrayed you. I did this. I did that. Whereas Rob tends to, fall back on almost like a coach. It feels weird to compare those two characters, but almost like that thing of coach not being able to accept that he's a certain type of player who played a ruthless and strategic game. So I really struggle between the two of them because I think they're two of the most dominant games of Survivor. So I'd put it in that top 2. I'd see what Matt has to say.
Yeah.
Well, I was going to put him at 3 because I kind of agree with what you said, Jake. But I do rate the other players in this season partially against Rob because it is like Boston Rob's win where he dominated it. But the other players were just kind of like, whereas Ferris also won on his first time, won in a unanimous vote, and played a dominant game.
Yeah.
So I would like Rob at 3, and I may have to put Rob at 7 just to weigh the scales to get him to 3.
I do think there's something in that where if you compare the cast of All Stars and Titans versus Rebels to the cast of this season, I mean it's
Titans versus Rebels is way better.
both like even though All Stars was quite predictable, like the level of game players on that season is huge. And same with Titans versus Rebels. Whereas this, we talked about it, like nobody's willing to do anything.
Right.
I think I may have been talked around.
Yeah, no, I completely see where you guys are going with that. I love Ferris. I love Titans versus Rebels, so I'm not mad to even have Ferris above Rob. So I mean, if we end up agreeing or like we come to a compromise of putting Rob at 3, I won't be upset.
Yeah, I think I would like 3, and I said my reasons why.
Yeah, of course.
It's difficult. It's very difficult to compare these things, and like we've talked about, if you compare like the game Rob played, he was untouchable. It's crazy. So he very easily could be a number 1. But yeah, I do think you have to factor in the level of the players that he played, and
I agree.
Yeah, the field that Ferris and David won against was so far above, these players on this season.
Yeah,
so
I agree.
I'd be okay with that.
So we got him at 3.
Yeah, I think that's
cool. Also, while talking about that reminded me, so Boston. So we have a Rob who wins in a dominating game against lackluster players. So Redemption Island. We also on the season we also have somebody's last name who's Mariano, which is Durao.
Yeah.
Oh,
that's really funny.
Yeah.
So we have Rob Mariano in the final tribal council.
Yeah, that's really funny. All right. So it's our top 3 now, and Pia got knocked out of the top 5. So
we still have Haley's still there, right?
Yeah, Haley's above Pia. So yeah.
Oh, damn it. Okay.
Yeah.
I know it's coming. Okay.
Yeah. I wonder. I think there's only out of the like two winners we have left for SA. I think the last one will
I think
go in the top five. But
yeah, I think the last one. Yeah, we'll see. We'll wait for Michael because he may like.
yeah. We'll see when we get there. All right.
I know who wins Return of the Outcast. I don't know who wins.
Okay, yeah. So that was why I was trying to.
Yeah. All right. SA7, Island of Secrets. So right now, out of our international seasons, number 1, Titans versus Rebels. 2, Heroes versus Villains. 3, Champions versus Contenders 2. 2017 at number 4, or season 2 of Australia. Brains versus Brawn at number 5. SA6, Philippines at number 6. Australian Survivor All Stars at 7. Season 1 of Australia 2016 at 8. CVC 1, 9, Survivor UK at 10, and Blood versus Water Australia at 11. So
I forgot we have UK so low. Wow.
yeah. So oh boy, this is gonna be tough. I guess let's just start at the bottom. And so Blood versus Water versus Island of Secrets, which
definitely way better.
It's way better. Yeah. I mean, there's no like uber ridiculous non-elimination twists in Island of Secrets. So, all right, so that's above that.
But so there is uber ridiculous advantages.
Yes, yeah. So then we get to UK and Island of Secrets. So
I personally enjoyed UK more.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's less of a slog. It's kind of the reverse. Mm-hmm. So it's like UK is a bit slow to start, and then it gets really good, whereas this is a really good start and a few key moments, but then there's this big slog after the merge. I'd slot it in there personally.
Yeah, what's the one above UK? Just so I have
Champions versus Contenders 1. So, I mean, both UK and Champions versus Contenders 1 have like an more interesting post merge.
Yeah. Which I always find more interesting than I do.
Right. So I mean, I'd be okay with putting this below UK and CVC 1 because I think those had more interesting post merges. So
yeah, I'm fine with that too.
All right. So wow, we I don't think anything will go as low as that moving forward for the next 2 seasons. So
we still have the early 2000s Australia and UK was okay.
Oh God.
No, I guarantee you, if we watch New Zealand 1, it's going on the bottom.
Well, yeah, I mean, I didn't know if we were gonna skip to New Zealand 2, honestly.
No, we're skipping to 2 because of Australia versus the world.
Yeah. So we have 3 seasons left.
Yeah, it would take us like 3 months to get through New Zealand 1. It was such a brutal watch.
I watched half of it and didn't like it. So yeah. All right. So with that, we have 12 seasons ranked. And as we said, we have a couple more interviews from this season. We have Rob Bentele this weekend, at the end of this weekend, coming out Monday. And then Nicole Capper, the runner-up, later next week, or
something we'll figure out. Depends on her schedule.
Yeah, so we'll get the final 2. Very excited about both of them, and then
let's not forget Rose Lee, guys. Brand new announcement, breaking news, and bringing in Rose Lee. She is a crime scene analyst, and that's all I'm going to talk to her about. That sounds cool.
Yay. No, but yeah, then we get to talk about Immunity Island, and we get to talk about one of my other favorite players in Survivor history. So I'm very, very excited to talk about Immunity Island.
We get to talk about maybe 2 of the greatest international characters ever.
Yes. Yeah. I love Chappies, so I'm so excited to talk about him.
I've heard a lot about him. I'm very excited.
Yeah, he is fantastic. I feel like he's his own character. I feel like maybe comparatively, at least in terms of a character, maybe a little bit like Tony. But yeah, I don't want to say, I don't know how else to describe him. I think Chappies is his own character. So
I look forward to discovering
he's
him.
One of one. Yeah, I would. He is like the Neo of. No, I'm kidding.
Oh my God.
I'm joking. Chappie's is way better. I just had to get in a Neo reference because Michael got all of his shit in.
True. No, I mean, I watched the rewatched the premiere of Immunity Island a few days ago, and I loved it. So
yeah, it's very irritating.
Yeah. So, anything else you guys want to say before we sign off of this one?
I had a lot of fun talking about this mess of a season, and I'm very excited to talk to Rob and Nicole. Two interviews I'm hugely excited for. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Same.
After those, we may have some crossover episodes before we get to Immunity Island as well. So.
Yes, we might have some international drafts or something in that nature. So I'm actually also very excited for those. So, with that, we will see you next season for more Survivor on the Tribe of Nerds.